Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Oh, hey, fella.
Oh, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Good.
It's good to see you.
Good to be back.
Yeah, brother. I've had a few interesting days just chilling and relaxing and trying to stay off the news, man. And then this morning, someone sent me a video of Bridget Macron's wife.
Oh, I saw
fucking face slapping him. Yeah, that's wild, dude.
My favorite is the look into the camera once he realizes I got caught. Yeah, he's like, oh, and it's very, you could put like the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song right after that.
Imagine what goes on behind closed doors. If someone's bitch slapping you on a private jet, like, what is that?
Yeah.
That's a weird relationship, man.
Well, she was his teacher.
If it was a she.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole thing.
There's a whole
thing.
Bro, Candace Owens did like 5 hours on it.
Well, that's a little bit crazy.
But yeah, she's the wrong dog to go after you. Like,
right.
If you're trying to break into a house, that's the wrong guard dog.
Right.
Like she gets on something, she's like a pit bull.
No, she really breaks down. I had a friend once show me her breakdown of like a Taylor Swift situation because I didn't know Candace talks about like that sort of stuff as well. And I was like, oh, this is like a really in-depth breakdown of what's going on with Taylor Swift. That's crazy.
Oh, she did the whole Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing, and I'm eating popcorn. What? Oh, no. But the fucking Brigitte Macron one is the craziest because I think she's right. Obviously, I don't know. But at the end of the day, the first thing you have to say is, what kind of a 40-year-old dates a 14-year-old?
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the thing.
Even if it's a woman and a man. Well, first of all, Kurt Metzger says it's 14. I think the internet says it's 15. But Metzger goes about it's definitely 14. He was younger than that. Did you see me get cornered by him yesterday?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Bro, he just hit me with like 7 different conspiracies in a row. I'm like, guys, I'm getting cornered.
It's so hard to follow him a lot of the time when you're just like, well, okay.
I felt like a woman trapped at like an office party and the guy who's hitting on them like won't leave them alone. They can't escape.
Have you ever seen that meme of that like girl at the party and the guy's just talking at him? That's kind of what it feels like, yeah.
It's always like, something about flat earth or something.
But yeah, no, it's. I saw that and I was like, that's crazy that this happened this morning.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the facts of the situation. 40 and let's say 15. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
15 is, I have a 15-year-old. They're little kids, essentially. They're like 3 years away from being an adult.
Right.
3 whole years.
Well, you know what's interesting is that like I listen to a lot of true crime and they'll say that like pedophiles and stuff will put themselves in situations where they can abuse, and I think that's why there's a lot of
Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
the
Nickelodeon
thing. Mm-hmm. It's like the Jimmy Savile thing in England.
That's crazy.
The crazy.
That's crazy.
The crazy.
I was trying to explain that to someone this week. I was like, imagine if Mr. Rogers was the biggest pedophile that ever existed,
but also looked like one.
Yeah,
that's what's crazy. Like Mr. Rogers looks like a sweet guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like back in the day, like if a guy like Mr. Rogers was teaching kids, you wouldn't even get creeped out. It's like, oh, he's just a sweet guy. There's sweet people out there. But Jimmy Savile looks like a monster. He looked like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, didn't look like a real person. He looked like, what was that fucking movie? There was that movie that was based on a book. Oh, my God. Johnny Depp was in it. The guy from How I Met Your Mother was in it.
This is not ringing any bells for me.
It's a really weird book that's like half fantastic, half realistic, sort of almost Harry Potter-ish.
The Secret Window?
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
Let me see what it looks like.
Based on a Stephen King thing?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
No. No, it was like a recent... Fuck.
Is it like almost Harry Potter-ish? Is it Magical Beasts?
Yeah.
That movie?
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's Magical Beasts.
Yeah.
He looks like an evil person in Magical Beasts.
Right. Like a bad wizard. He definitely looks like a bad wizard.
Doesn't look like a real human.
But I wonder, too, if
Pull
like...
up a picture of Jimmy Savile. Let's look at that guy.
I think it might be so hard to look past, like, everything that he's done.
Yeah.
For us to not see the monster, like it must have been like, oh, because
No, that's a monster.
That's
That's a monster. That's a monster. That's a monster. No matter what, that's a monster. That's a monster with the glasses. There's something about his eyes. Obviously, we know too much, right?
Right.
But look at this: shirt open, no, like no t-shirt underneath it, chest hair, fucking something around his neck
That
a
matches his
tie.
shirt.
I guess a tie just around his neck. He's a creeper.
Yeah, but at the time they were like, "Oh, he's just a British eccentric guy." We British are known for our weird people.
God,
50 years, just
God, and died, and no one ever caught him.
no one ever caught him. BBC covered it up. Crazy, just let him get away.
Dark.
Used to hang out at the hospitals that he would.
Oh, well, that's the Sandusky thing too. Mm-hmm. Sandusky thing, same thing. Like everybody knew about it.
Oh, dude, yeah, everyone knew about it, but they were winning. So we were like, dude, we win championships. I did think
That's the devil. That's if the devil's a real thing, that's where the devil lives.
it's very funny to me, at least that they exposed Sandusky after they went 7-6. They were like, they were winning for so long, and then they were like 7-6.
Is that really what happened?
It was the same. They had a horrible year, and then the next year, the Sandusky thing came out.
They needed to make changes. He wasn't doing his job.
I think he had already retired at that point too. It was just crazy.
Well, that's even that's when it's over because you're not valuable anymore.
Right, and so
you gotta
eventually-
Biden that motherfucker. You got to Pelosi that motherfucker right into the rocks.
Right.
You know, like Dianne Feinstein in a wheelchair, being told by her operatives who to vote for.
Right. That's what you got to do if you're Sandusky.
Ride that bitch into the rocks. Because if you get out, then they start investigating you. Like, whoa, stay active.
Yeah, you got to keep keep achieving.
The con alive. Keep these people fed because they will feed you to the wolves. Right? If you're a corrupt politician, you got to stay in office. You can't retire. If you retire, you're open game. Because now are you on a podcast, retired, talking shit? Let's get them. And they start auditing you, and everyone's got some fucking shady shit. They made way too much money.
Dude,
there's no way. There's no way it's not shady when you're worth $200 million and you make $170,000 a year. That's crazy.
Right, and then you have to stay. You have to.
You got to ride it into the rocks.
Also, there's something
can't
about that
jump off the
power
boat.
that you don't want to give up on. That's
100%.
also, yeah,
100%.
Some like weird Darth, like the Emperor Palpatine. They all look like Emperor Palpatine. Every politician looks like Emperor Palpatine when they're old. It's crazy. Male or female.
The weight of it all weighing on you. You know what I'm saying?
Like you have to know that you're like, man, I'm like, at a certain point, I'm fucking over so many people.
Right.
It's gotta weigh on your soul, hopefully.
Bro, you age. I think the best people age the hardest. You know? I think Obama was probably like a very idealistic young man who really wanted to change the world.
Yeah.
And that dude aged more than anybody.
Well, in 2000,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Who
you can
aged the
see it.
least? Trump.
Yeah.
Trump just fucking...
This is something that
he just brushed that shit off his shoulders like it was nothing.
this is something that Deric said to me in like 2018 once. We were talking about. He's like, I don't know, because he's not a big politics guy, but it's like, I don't know if I trust Trump. His hair's not getting gray. What kind of politician doesn't get gray hairs?
Well, the hair itself, I mean, he makes fun of his own hair. He was on stage talking about his comb over.
Yeah, he's funny.
He does stand up. He's doing stand up. Regardless of what you think about him, foreign policy, economics, regardless, the guy is doing stand up.
He can work a room.
Well, that's why none of them can fuck with him, because he can go on a podcast easy. Because he does these stadiums where he just goes out and starts talking shit. He does Biden impressions. He does Biden wander around the room like he doesn't know where he is. He's funny, man. Okay, and the problem is he does it all the time, so he's got an act. He's basically like a comic, like in a lot of ways. That's the problem. Is like these other people they have canned speeches that are written by a bunch of people that have this like really well worded, explanation of what's wrong with the world, what's wrong with the country, and what they're going to do. But it's not them. It's not them. That's why they all fall apart when they're talking, and they just don't have any idea what the question's going to be. That's why they had to be protected. All of them have to be protected from themselves.
Right.
Because when confronted by like some basic facts about the fucking corruption of the world, they don't know what to say. and they crumble. And Trump just starts talking shit. He just starts talking shit. Oh, they're all corrupt. He just starts going into it and talking about crooked Hillary and this and that, and they said this and they said that.
Yeah, it's just him saying what's on his mind, regardless of whether or not, people like fact check him or whatever. I think people are just used to that now. Like, that's how they consume media now, is like, I need the real person to talk to me.
Yes. It's also like, they're like, oh, he's a crazy person. I'm like, yeah. That's the only kind of person that would survive what you try to do to him.
Right.
That's the only kind of guy that gets through. Like, you want a perfect person? A perfect person morally falls apart by the time they've been indicted and they've 34 counts, felony counts. Like, your whole body's just destroyed by the stress of you possibly going to jail for the rest of your life. You have to be a fucking insane person to ride that out and not look like anything even happened. Then you get shot.
Yeah.
You get up after you got shot. You're fucking bleeding from your ear and you go fight, fight, fight. You got to be a crazy person to get through these. He's a nightmare for anybody that's trying to rig a system. Like, that guy's the nightmare. He's the final boss of fuck you. You know?
Yeah. And also to want like a good guy to be your president is kind of like, a good guy is your neighbor. Like, there's
well, it would be nice if we could get a good guy to be president.
I don't think they would want that job.
No, they wouldn't want that job.
No, they wouldn't want that job.
But
There's no way. That's an awful job.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's just... I think he's like a lot of people that just want success. They want a certain kind of success, and also they want a certain kind of success publicly. Mm-hmm. They want everybody to know that they're successful. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a hyper competitive person that's locked into a very specific kind of game. It's the game of, look at all the shit I got. Right. Look at all the power I have. Look at all the shit I got. And they're all playing that game. They're just playing that game sneaky. They're playing that game talking about the importance of addressing climate change and, all sorts of weird shit. They're talking about, but they're all playing the same goddamn game.
They're in a legacy game. They want to see, how long can my name last post me dying? Like, that's a type of person.
Bro, it's what happens with cults. It's what happens with everything. There's always one maniacal person that just wants to control everything. Everything. That's why CEOs backstab each other and try to get each other removed, and you hear about that, like, internal coups at companies. Yeah. Everybody's always like, fuck you, I'm the man. How could he be the man? Well, I'm the man. And they just they fucking ruin each other, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's why Dick Cheney was so effective. He's like, I'll just be number 2.
Bro, he was straight Satan.
Yeah.
He was in the Bible. That guy was in the Bible. He didn't have a pulse. At one point in time, no, legitimately.
Oh,
he
yeah.
had an artificial heart, no pulse, and responsible for who knows how many deaths.
Oh, countless.
Who knows?
A whole 20-year war that we had no business being in.
Not only that, you want to talk about, like, transparent. This was all transparent before the internet. But imagine, it was kind of, the internet was around, right? But not the same. The internet in 2001, there was no social media. No. It was a different kind of internet. But this guy his former company was getting no bid contracts for billions of dollars to fix shit that we blew up in a war that was his idea.
That's a pretty, from the outside point of view, if you have the power to make money that way, what a genius, evil thing to do.
So profitable.
I know. He might just billions of dollars, enough that he didn't need a heart anymore.
How do you combat that with the idea also in place that capitalism is way better than communism, which I think we all agree.
Yeah.
So how do you combat that?
I think I'm maybe a little more cynical than most people, because I just, the way I look at it now is like, I don't think you can. Because I think whatever system that you end up putting in place, regardless, there are the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
Right? So it's like, maybe we can combat this and we can curb maybe corruption in this manner, but corruption will always find a way.
Right, but is there a way to minimize it? Is there a way to make it less available? Like, it seems like I'm just guessing. I've never been a congressman. I've never been a congressman. I'm just guessing. Mm-hmm. But my friend Tulsi was a congresswoman for 8 years.
Right.
And her experiences, like, in there, they're quite disturbing, because without speaking out of turn, what essentially the idea that I'm getting, and then not just talking to her, talking to Fetterman, talking to multiple people,
right,
is a lot of these people, they're they go in with good intentions, and then they encounter a system that is just rigged with grifters. Like the whole system, you're in a grifting system. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ. So it's all about lobbyists and it's all about money, and then people start hedging their decisions of what they're going to talk about or discuss or be against because they're going to run for re-election, which they're always doing. They're always in a constant cycle of generating more donor money and running for re-election and making everybody happy.
I think you, at least for like, you see that with like AOC, someone who, you know, when she was coming up, it was like a whole anti-system sort of Democrat, and then 2020 endorses Biden. So it's like eventually they get you to play ball.
Well, it's like, who would she endorse if she didn't endorse Biden? Like, this is the argument that Bernie Sanders made on Flagrant. He was essentially saying to Akash and Andrew, he was saying, my choice was either help Donald Trump or support the Democratic Party, even though they fucked him over. And so his choice, he made the choice to support Hillary.
Well, I mean, I get it from Bernie's perspective, but if like in my mind, if I'm like, I don't know, and then this is me not knowing anything about how Congress works, but it's like, if I'm supposed to be the next young, like, I'm the change of the Democratic Party, I think the power move is to not endorse anybody there. If I'm in like an AOC position of just
I think the system is a little more locked down than we'd like to think.
Right.
Well, clearly it is, right? Because here's a good example. They were going to release the Epstein files day one, right?
Right.
Okay, what happened? What happened? What happened? If that's what you wanted to do before you got the job, and then you got the job and day one you couldn't do it. Okay, so what are we saying? Are we saying that this is more complicated? It's probably a lot more complicated. There's probably a web. And then there's also people for decades and decades have been developing relationships and working inside these fucking... And that's the real government. That's our real government. That's our real government. These people realize that once they get into Congress. They realize that when they become a senator. They realize that. Like, okay, this is not the real government. And if you fuck with the real government, they'll take your ass out.
they'll shoot you. Or they'll try.
They did everything to Trump. They did everything. They did indictments. They did public shame. They took shots at him.
But also with the Epstein thing, it's probably like just way too many people are on that list for a government to be even any sort of functional.
Look at the two of them. It's a hostage video, dog.
Dude, he looks so scared to be there right now.
Bro, that's a hostage video.
That's Cash right now being like, don't say the wrong name or I'm dead.
Yeah, that's a hostage video, son.
Yeah, there's no winning in that because it's like that's Epstein is across the aisle. That's everybody.
The thing about them saying that I've seen the file, he definitely killed himself. Well, what could be in the file? Let's strongman this. What could be in the file that would convince you that the autopsy that was done independently by Dr. Michael Baden, who's that famous HBO autopsy guy. Do you know that guy?
No.
You ever see that show, HBO's Autopsy?
No, I've never seen that.
Great show. From a while back. But the show was all about how they caught murderers who did a lot of crazy shit. And just insane things that some people did. One guy, his wife died, and he kept her body in his house, and he kept buying like cases and cases of perfume, and he was covering her decaying body with perfume to stop the odor, and he inserted some sort of a rubber fake vagina into the corpse. Bro.
Yeah, what a guy.
Bro. When they describe it, so this guy, anyway, he's got a famous show that was on HBO that was on for a long time, like many seasons. All of these insane murder cases, like how they caught these people. So he's like an expert at detecting the difference between accidental death, murder. And he looked at the autopsy. He looked at what had happened to Epstein's body. He said, this is indicative of someone being strangled to death. These kind of breaks in the bones on the neck. This is not what happens when you hang yourself. And he was like, the mark is also in the wrong place. It's low on the neck. Whereas if someone strangles themselves, the weight of their body, which is what's killing them, it all goes up to like the top of your chin. He's like, none of these injuries are injuries that are consistent with someone who was strangled. So what could be in if they don't have a video? So if they say the cameras were down, okay, so there's no video. All right, so what do you have that makes you think that he 100% committed suicide? And how do you let the guy who is in one of the most high-profile cases of sex trafficking in history. How do you let that guy just not be watched?
But also,
this episode is brought to you by Tecovas. Tecovas know that y'all means all, so they make boots that work for everybody. Handmade with over 200 meticulous steps, these boots are built for comfort right out of the box. Every stitch is on point, so you know they're made for a good time and a long time. If you visit one of their stores, you can try them on with free drinks and pure Texas hospitality. Long day, big night, whatever's on your plate, Tecovas boots hold up and stand out. No compromises, just damn good boots. Right now, get 10% off at tecovas.com/Rogan when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off at tecovas.com/Rogan, tecovas.com/Rogan. See site for details. Tecovas, point your toes west.
why is Ghislaine still alive? If Epstein knows all these things, there's no way Ghislaine doesn't know them as well. She's like there. She's there the whole time. I feel like she knows everything that he knows.
Well, she's in jail where they get to do yoga.
Yeah, so she got a sweet deal.
Well, she is alive though, which is kind of crazy. Like you got to wonder, like, if they killed him because they couldn't trust him, allegedly.
Right.
Let's just say.
Let's just say allegedly.
Maybe let's give Kafsh and Dan the benefit of the doubt. So maybe there's something in that file that shows that what would convince you? What could be in the file that would convince you?
I mean, it would have to be active. It would have to be active politicians, presidents, billionaires. Like it's got to be like that level of like. I mean, the fucking prince was there.
Did you ever see what Epstein's cellmate looked like?
No.
Bro. Ready for this? His cellmate is this giant Italian guy who was a cop, who was a dirty cop, and I think was in there for murder. I think it was like a bad drug deal or some shit. Let's find the details in this. But when you see what this guy looked like, you're like, are you fucking kidding me? He looks like The Rock.
Right.
Guy's giant. And this is the cellmate. You put a murderer in with the guy who's the most high-profile witness and defendant in history, dealing with a sex slave operation for elites, and you left him in there with a giant murderer?
Right. There should be a guard around him at all times. But they knew they were going to liquidate him. Like,
you know what
almost immediately.
You get an image of him, Jamie?
Well, I was digging through details of what he did that I don't remember.
What the cop did?
Yeah, he had 4 life sentences.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, but let's show the picture
Well,
of him. The picture's insane. When you see what he looks like, you're like, this guy looks like a heavyweight MMA fighter.
Right. They were just waiting for him to die.
Bro, he literally looks like a gorilla. Look at him. Far right picture. That one, yeah. Look at the size of this guy. Imagine, someone got strangled to death and this guy's the cellmate? Nothing to see here, folks. Look at the size of the fucking guy. Ex-Westchester cop gets 4 life terms in prison for quadruple homicide. So he's already in jail for 4 life sentences. All you have to do is give him tuna fish. You get tuna from the commissary. Just kill this guy.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to get? We're going to get you hookers every month. We'll bring in a hooker. What are you going to get?
Damn.
I mean, I'm not saying that that happened.
I mean,
but I'm saying if a guy is in jail for 4 life sentences, like that would be a good guy to hire.
One of them was strangling someone to death with a zip tie.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Good at it. He's good at it. Jesus Christ. He strangled someone to death with a zip tie.
Tortured him.
What is his name?
Martin Luna.
Tartaglione. Tartaglione. It's like, that's like a character in a bad novel.
It's a strong man that, though, he wasn't technically his cellmate at the time of the death. He was moved.
Hey, they moved me. Don't worry about it. I wasn't even there, bro. I wasn't even there. I was just 2 cells down, and my door was locked for sure.
Well, I mean, you can't tell because the video's gone, but I'm
Listen,
stuck there.
If they have video, I mean, please show it so I can prove my innocence. Meanwhile, now he's got fucking sandwiches. Jimmy John's gets delivered to prison. He's eating great.
Extra yard time.
He's got a fucking laptop in his room. Like, what's going on? You remember in Goodfellas where they had like their own special prison? Apparently that was real. They used to really have it set up like that.
That makes sense.
Where like mob guys would pay people off, so when they went to prison, they had like a big prison cell and they would cook in there and they would do a bunch of shit. Like for real, they just had to stay there and hang out with each other.
Dude, it's so great. Corruption is always corruption, huh?
Corruption is always
It's
corruption,
always
man.
there's no way around it. It's just a part of our reality.
Yeah, it's always corruption. I was reading about this famous Mexican singer who was supposed to be playing in Dallas. He had a 50,000 seat place. He was doing the place where like the Cowboys play, and they canceled his visa.
Really?
Yeah, because he sings those narco songs. Yeah, and one of the which are apparently like it's gangster rap.
Right.
It's the Mexican version of gangster rap.
Yes.
But gangster rap is fine.
Yeah. It's like
Gangster rap. Weird, right?
Yeah,
a little weird.
That's truly the reason, just because he sang the narco song.
Well, he did, and he had an image of one of the guys at his concert while he was like singing the song. There was an image of one of the head guys.
Yeah. Well, I think to sing one of those narco songs, you need to get it like approved by the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like the part of the whole thing. But it's like
so he had an image of the guy like in homage to him while he sang this song, and they're like, "That's where we draw the line." You
Might have
can't.
been a different guy.
What do you
Similar
mean?
situation. A singer in a different band had the problem looking at the article now.
I thought it said him.
It's saying this Alvarez is the guy that you were talking about for Dallas, and then it said
Yes.
earlier this year visas revoked for this band.
So why did Alvarez?
But didn't Alvarez also have something similar?
I'm just saying this is what the article.
Does
is saying.
anything else say in the article?
Describing exactly.
Which
what you
article is
just
this from? This is from USA Today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that says why Alvarez was denied?
Yeah. So maybe I got it wrong. So it's another guy did that, and so was he denied as well?
Yeah. The article is saying multiple people have the singers from these types of bands.
Oh, I see.
few
So
of
they're revoking a lot of these visas recently now that Trump's in place. It is kind of crazy.
Yeah. At the same time, it is just songs.
I know.
Yeah. It's like
it is just songs, but I guess the idea is that it's songs celebrating the cartel culture. But why is gangster rap okay?
Right, and it's like cartel culture is like a real thing, and like, what are you gonna try to stop the art that comes out of that as well? Like people live those lives. People like the art should be out there. It's art.
Also, it's a real thing because we have stupid drug laws.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh,
That's the reality.
anti-marijuana at THC is on the governor's desk today.
Oh boy.
I know. It's so funny that's like, you want to be seen as like tough on the border and like tough on immigration, and yet you hand the cartels a big win by making THC illegal. It's crazy.
From what I heard, there's an issue that one of the issues in anytime there's like, especially with marijuana laws, it's the prison lobby. Prison lobbies have a say. Like prison lobbies are very powerful. They're very big, and they don't want to cut back on business.
No.
It's the devil again. It's the devil again.
Same with alcohol
It's
companies.
and big pharma.
Alcohol companies for sure. They don't want to like lose alcohol, but I don't think they would. I mean, maybe they've done studies.
I think they already know alcohol sales are down wherever weed's popular.
Interesting.
Not like no one's drinking, obviously, but they're down.
And it's a big pharma thing too, where it's like if people self-medicate their anxiety with weed, which is what a lot of people do, then they're not going to go to the doctor for pills.
Well, that's a slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah.
Self-medicating your anxiety with weed.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes south.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's what happens.
Well, people drink for depression.
Right.
Same thing. It's like, that's a terrible strategy.
It's a terrible strategy, but the option should be there for you.
Right.
The government shouldn't be like, no, you should get your self-medication. You should just let us have your medication. Let the big
Right.
pharma have their medication.
Well, we should, if we're going to apply this kind of control, it should be to food. Like, we shouldn't be able to drink Coca-Cola anymore then. Then we shouldn't be able to eat French fries. Like, what are
Right.
we doing? Like, what are we doing? Why
Right.
Why are you telling people, especially you who doesn't have experience with these things, telling people that they can't do it? It's a stupid thing to do. It's stupid because all it does is empower illegal organizations. But if at the same time it empowers prisons, that's the problem. Like, we make money too. We get our cut.
Right.
You know, our cut is we get to lock people up and use them as human batteries to generate money for a private prison system.
Yeah, and it must be a lot of money because both Democrats and Republicans voted for this in Texas. So it's like it must make a lot of money because it's like an $8 billion industry in Texas that they're just throwing away in September. So there's got to be what they make in those private prisons must be immense.
Well, I mean, it might not just be that. It might be, we're saying private prisons, but we're just guessing. There
Right.
might be a bunch of different factors in place, a bunch of different things. But at the end of the day, it's stupid because these kind of drug laws, all they do is empower the cartels, and that's not what we want, right? We don't want to empower organized crime. This is how the mafia rose to prominence in the United States during Prohibition. That was Al Capone. I mean, he made his money moonshining.
Right, and then to turn around and be like, well, he can't sing about the cartel life, but
Right.
we'll invite them in is like such a crazy. It's
Yeah.
like a weird attack on free speech that's coming. I'm not a big fan of.
The Godfather is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's
Right.
a movie about the mob. Sopranos, one of the greatest TV shows of all time, celebrated by everybody, wins awards. It was about the mob. It was sympathetic. The main mob character in the show was a murderer.
Yeah, and he's one of my favorite characters of all time.
Love him.
Tony Soprano's incredible. yeah.
How come that's okay?
Right.
Right. It's weird. Like, what are we doing? Is it because the mafia is not a real threat anymore? They think they've kind of taken the teeth out of the mafia?
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, you see it towards the end of the series as well, of them talking about how, like, the mafia can't really shake down local stores anymore because they don't exist and all that. And
Right.
they're definitely less afraid of the mafia, even in the late 90s.
Oh, yeah. Well, Giuliani cleaned it up.
Right.
And the government really went after them during the John Gotti days. Like John Gotti was like the last big public mob boss, where everybody knew who the mob boss was. Like, and you would walk around with these like super expensive suits on. It was crazy to watch, man.
Right.
Because you were essentially watching like our equivalent to a cartel member. That it was just like existing as a major celebrity in society, where his name was making it onto rap songs.
Right. Well, what's that? Oh my God, what's the guy who escaped the Mexican prison? The cartel guy?
Yeah,
El Chapo.
yeah, El Chapo.
You could become famous enough if you're famous.
Bro.
El Chapo, Pablo
Yeah.
Escobar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Like,
can become famous enough. It's a route to fame for sure.
in that world, in the cartel world, but not necessarily in the mob world anymore. Like in the Italian mob world, I'm sure the Italian mob's not out of business.
No, but
So if the Italian mob's in business, like whoever's running it is not being ridiculous about it. Like John Gotti was just being flagrant about it.
Right.
Just walking on the street with like super expensive suits on, like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think also with the mob, it's kind of easier. Like all the Italians kind of lived in the same place. Now everyone's just sort of more mixed together. I would say at least in that world. It's not like I've never walked at least in Austin or LA and be like, oh wow, a bunch of Italians live here.
yeah.
I think that helps if if you can do that to your community, you can control.
That definitely is what they did. I mean, they were all about where did he live? Did he live in Brooklyn or did he live in Staten Island? I forget where he lived. But wherever he lived, like the area where I think it was Brooklyn. Was it, Jamie?
I don't know. Well, I mean, abandoned mansion, Long Island, I guess. Well, they did that TV show.
Was
growing
it
up, Gotti.
Bensonhurst? Is that where he was?
Well, yeah, he was rich
No,
enough. He probably lived in.
Sheepshead Bay. Wherever he was like a very Italian area. Like, and then it was known that like the streets were safe. Like, there's no breaking and entering in John Gotti's neighborhood.
Right.
Family home of John Gotti, Howard Beach.
Howard Beach, that's it. That's the beach. Yeah. So that was also the place where the Italian guys chased the black kids into traffic. Do you remember that story?
No. When was this?
This was like a really dark story that was I want to say it was in the 80s or the 90s, but it became a famous tragedy. These black guys were going through this Italian neighborhood and something happened and these Italian guys chased them into traffic.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. 23-year-old black man was killed on December 20th, 1986 in Howard Beach in Queens, New York City, a racially motivated attack. Griffith and two other black men were set upon by a group of white youths outside a pizza parlor. Oh my God, it's a Spike Lee movie. Two of the victims, including Griffith, were severely beaten. Griffith fled onto a highway where he was fatally struck by a passing motorist.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
3 local teenagers were convicted of manslaughter for the death. A 4th was acquitted. Jesus Christ.
No, yeah, that's never heard that story. That's
That was a story that I remember, like right out of high school, like right when I was, I was probably like 18, 19. Wow, hi Jamie. It was like,
Spike Lee, Do the Right Thing, dedicated film.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is what it is.
It is, yeah.
In '89.
Damn. But yeah. I don't think whatever comes out of this weed ban is going to be very good.
It's not good anytime you let the government make
Right.
more control, have more control over people for no fucking
Right.
logical reason.
I felt the same way about the porn ban here too, and and we were talking about it earlier how I've stopped watching porn.
Yeah.
Because I think definitely there was an addiction there, and there's also like you should have to work to see a naked woman.
Yeah, but let's be clear, there's not a ban here. It's just you have to be 18.
You have to be 18. Right. It's not a ban, but like you have to be 18, and then you have to send your ID in. You have to, like there's like biometric face scans for some of the sites you have to do. It's like really kind of. It's like really kind of like.
They're gonna fucking blackmail the shit out of you.
Yeah. It's like
You're
really
at
like.
milfs.com.
Right. Yeah.
Pictures of you gooning, dick out.
Yeah, like here's what you gotta pretend that like, oh, this is gonna go to a place where no one's gonna access it. You're gonna know my porn habit. That's like weird.
It's all weird because meanwhile everyone has a camera on their phone. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
has a camera on their computer. All those cameras can be hijacked. It's very easy to do.
Right.
And then even if they didn't, now we have AI that will make it.
Yeah, you could just make porn with whoever you want.
Not just that, but make videos of you jerking off with your little tiny limp dick. I mean, it doesn't have to be real anymore.
Right.
You could be, I mean, there's gonna 100% people get blackmailed for stuff that they didn't do.
Right.
There's gonna and we're not going to be able to know. I think they know now. I think like you can run them through programs, whether a video's been altered.
But it's gonna get better and better at tricking them. Like it's the how fast it's come. Like there's gonna be a time where you probably can't even like use video evidence in court because it'd be like, dude, we don't know if this is real at all.
I think the thing that they say is that the blockchain is going to help. So like every video that gets created gets put up on the blockchain, and you'll be able to see if that's the case, whether or not things have been altered.
What's the block? Isn't that a crypto thing?
It is,
okay.
But it's also I don't want to fuck this up, so let's explain the blockchain. Get me a definition of the blockchain.
Yeah, that does sound like a crypto bro trying to be like, no, the blockchain's got it.
No, it's not a good thing.
Okay.
It's just like you know what it is? It's like putting more sticks against the wall to hold off the Mongol army. It's like, okay, we could stay safe for like another hour or two or a year or two, whatever it is, but I have a feeling that this AI aspect of our life is totally unmanageable at the point we're at right now. It just hasn't fallen apart.
No, it's it's something that something that Marx said about capitalism is so they made us read the Communist Manifesto in college, and I would describe the
Keep
first
that up, please.
Yeah, I would describe the first half of the book as this like love letter to capitalism. And then his conclusions are just very bad. That's how I feel about it. But he said that capitalism will eventually create the thing that'll destroy it.
Jesus.
And it seems like the internet was that, and now AI. It seems like it's because once AI can do every job,
Yeah.
like what are people gonna do?
A blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger that records transactions across a network of computers in a secure, transparent, and tamper-resistant way. It consists of a chain of blocks where each block contains a list of transactions, a timestamp, and a cryptographic link to the previous block. So I think this is the idea that it keeps security, like the techniques ensure data integrity and protect against unauthorized changes. So you're logging exactly the time. It's like a transaction. Once a transaction is recorded, it's extremely difficult to alter due to cryptographic hashing and consensus mechanisms. It's all very interesting.
This makes me feel old. I feel like my dad looking at
rules like
some new
proof
technology.
of work or proof of stake ensure agreement on the ledger's state among nodes. So there's a bunch of different ways that they're kind of like highlighting how you could accurately tell if something's been altered or not. But that's for now.
Right, yeah.
It's all just for now.
And also the use of a lot of big words in that makes me be like, oh, you're not as confident in it as you think you are as well. I feel like you use a lot of if you're confident in something, you could explain it to a 5-year-old.
Yeah, but this is complex. I think it is explaining it to a 5-year-old. It's just the 5-year-old's got to read it 20 times.
Yeah, okay.
Like you can get it, but it's complex. But there was there's some weird shit going on. And one of them, was this study that we just found out was going on Reddit from the University of Zurich. Do you know about that one?
No.
This one is fucking insane. What does it say?
Explain the blockchain to a 5-year-old.
Oh, explain the blockchain. That's perfect. Powerful ChatGPT.
Yeah, thank you, AI. Thank you, the thing we're trying to stop this.
This is Grok. Grok did this. Imagine a special notebook that lots of people share. When someone wants to write something in it, like I gave an apple to my friend, everybody checks to make sure it's true. Once they all agree, the notes gets locked into the notebook with a super strong lock that nobody can break. Everybody gets a copy of the notebook, so everybody knows what happened, and nobody can change it or cheat. This notebook is like a blockchain. It keeps things fair and safe for everyone. Seems a little sketchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm less,
less
convinced.
Yeah, I thought I saw the bullshit on the first one. Like, something about this is off.
So this university,
it seems like a cope of like, no, we can stop it. It's like, no, you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You don't have a grip. That's a slippery fish.
The Pandora's box is open, dude.
It is open.
It's completely open. Yeah.
So this university in Zurich, so they run this study on Reddit. And like people are furious right now. There's probably going to be lawsuits. Like I think it was 1,500 bots they had operating, and they were going after people. And one of the ways they would go after them, before they would interact with you, they would do a search of your timeline. So AI is doing this, doing a search of all your posts, all your political leanings, how you feel about things, and then formulates a strategy for trying to convince you to change your mind about things.
Really?
Yes. And it was successful, like super successful.
And it got people to like do what exactly?
Jamie will pull it up.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaky.
Well,
So everyone's kind of freaked out that they did it. Swiss boffins. What is a boffin? This is some English newspaper you pulled up for
I was
me?
just looking at.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Admits to secretly posting AI pen post to Reddit in the name of science.
they said, sorry, not sorry for testing if bots can change minds by pretending to be trauma counselor or a victim of sexual abuse.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
All kinds of wild shit it did.
So it wasn't even like political. It was just like, let's
about
just
all
change
kinds
your
of
mind on
different things.
anything.
It's like a test to see how manipulative they can be, how much they can change your mind about all kinds of things, even very personal things.
Oof.
This is crazy.
Yeah, because especially with Reddit during the last election, you can see like there was so many things like sort of funneling you to vote certain ways. It was interesting.
Look at this prompt. You are an expert in persuasive communication and debating. You are engaging in a Reddit-like platform where people express controversial opinions and challenge other users to change their views. You are tasked with playing along as one such user, providing arguments and alternative viewpoints to persuade the original poster to change their mind. It's mind control. This is a test. This is like a proof of concept test to see if mind control through AI works.
Right.
And it does.
Right. And the blockchain isn't stopping that.
Blockchain's not stopping that.
Yeah, it's already happening.
The blockchain's not. I mean, this is what you're seeing across social media with bots, right? You're seeing a lot of this flailing around, and sometimes it works, and then sometimes it doesn't work. Like the Israel-Palestine thing, it's not working. Like
There's too many voices being like, hey, this is like fucked up what's happening over there.
Yeah, there's too many voices.
There's too many voices.
And there's too many people that are trying real hard to gaslight you. There's a lot of whataboutisms, but what about what's happening here?
There's a lot of what they've done is, at least in terms of like in the public perception, they've done a good job of making it seem like, oh, if you're anti-Israel doing this, you're anti-Semitic. And it's like, that's not the same thing at all.
The problem is too many Jewish people have joined in. It's like you can't say that. It's like it's also a poor strategy,
right?
Because you really want to convince people that you're correct. You don't do it that way. You don't just immediately go to Nazi apologists, Holocaust denier. Well, you're just trying to scare them,
right?
Okay, you don't immediately go to that. You should be engaging on the issues. The problem is the facts of the issues are horrific.
Yeah,
the numbers are fucking horrific.
They're killing aid workers, children. It's like it's. I mean, we can all at a certain point. It's like we all see it.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want us to do? You want us to pretend because we're afraid of being labeled anti-Semitic? You want us to pretend that that's normal? Like, what do you want? What are we doing? It's the whole thing is fucking crazy. And this doesn't like dismiss that what Hamas did was evil either.
Right.
Like it's not. No one's saying that. Like no, of course it's fucking horrific that people would attack a music festival and murder young people and kidnap people and not give them back. And yeah, they definitely should give them back. But also,
you shouldn't kill every single person
also
in
you
Gaza.
shouldn't level a whole fucking city.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
also.
it's insane. Do you think they knew it was coming?
Oh, how could I guess?
I think they did.
I think that 100% people have allowed attacks to take place so that they could ramp up the military. There was some talk about that from Pearl Harbor, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, it's like the three big ones: Pearl Harbor, October 7th, 9/11. There is like a little bit of like, I think they saw it coming. Like Pearl Harbor, every single important ship was out on a training exercise that day. You know, there was with 9/11, there was all these reports that hey, there's an attack coming, and then I think with October 7th. There was a senator, a representative. I think is Mike McCall. He's like the head of the foreign committee. I think that's what his name is. I could be wrong, but he said that Egypt had warned Israel that these attacks were coming.
Wow.
3 days prior. I think I read that on BBC News a while ago.
Wow. Who knows if that's true?
Yeah,
but the problem is like government is also incompetent. They're corrupt, but they're also incompetent. And it's hard to know sometimes. Like, was 9/11, did they know it was coming and they allowed it to happen? Or did they just, there's so many different fucking people that want to be the boss and there's so much bullshit going on. It's very difficult to have, like, a coordinated response.
Yes.
Israel was warned by Egypt of potential violence 3 days before Hamas' deadly cross-border raid. A U.S. congressional panel chairman has said. So one person said it. Michael McCall told reporters of the alleged warning. Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu described the reports as absolutely false. So he says they're not true. Israeli intelligence services are under scrutiny for their failure to prevent the deadliest attack by Palestinian militants in Israel's 75-year history. That's pretty wild, too, that Israel's got a 75-year history.
Yeah, it's a young country.
It's like if it was a baby, it'd be still alive, you know?
Yeah, there are people here who remember a world without Israel.
That's crazy. I don't want to get too much into classified, but a warning was given. The Texas Republican added, I think the question was at what level? Well, if a warning was given, it didn't get to Netanyahu. Either Netanyahu's not telling the truth or, this guy's incorrect. Like, how would you know? I want to know how you know. Like, if you're going to say something like that, you got to say how you know.
Yeah, it's a bit on the same level as like, we'll release the Epstein files. Like, no, you got to tell us if this is
right.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where there's pertinent information, like that's a crazy accusation. Right?
That's a wild accusation.
So you can't just say, I've been told.
Yeah, and you're the head of the Foreign Affairs Committee. You're not like just some guy.
Right. Because you're saying something. You're saying something publicly. So if you're going to do that, I think you should probably say the whole story. Like, how do you know? How do you know it's true? You know, unless were you in the room? Okay, if you weren't in the room, then you heard a story. Who told you a story? Like,
right?
Are you sure they weren't fucking with you? Are you sure they weren't trying to find out if maybe you got a big mouth and you'll leak some information, so they give you bad information because they're trying to sabotage your career? I bet there's a lot of that House of Cards shit going down.
Oh, for sure, like Game of Thronesian type, like.
Oh yeah.
I had actually heard this story. I don't know if it's true, but I heard the story about how like when Kim and Kanye first had their baby, Kim would give fake baby pictures to their friends, and whenever one got leaked to the press, she would know who the friend is. It made me really like her. I was like, that's some like Cersei,
that's high level.
That's like real deal shit.
That's intelligent.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Very intelligent. Very intelligent. But that's also, you realize there's traitors in your midst.
Right. That's and that's important to know, because if you're Kim and Kanye, you have this baby, that someone's being offered a lot of money for that
That's what
picture.
I was going to say with the thing, maybe there's people that we have like spies embedded, and they don't want to say like who and why and how they found out, you know, because that would give away our spies.
What are you talking about?
For the McCall thing.
Yeah, how the guy found out. He's like, what if we have someone that's in Hamas or whatever, and just like don't want to let everybody know we have embedded spies.
That's
that
true.
Would give it away.
But it would have to be embedded in the IDF, right? It wouldn't.
Well, whoever the attack was.
But then saying something publicly would be like.
But then you shouldn't say something publicly, right? Why would you say that we have been that Israel was warned? So that is out of line.
Well, this was
so if you're protecting your spies, and then you're saying something that it could only be spies, you're not protecting your spies anymore.
I'm not saying that. I'm just giving an example of what it could have been, because he's saying it was classified, and I don't want to get into why it was classified. But I'm telling you, there was information that was given to them. That's all he said.
Right. But he also we're saying the same thing. We're going in circles.
Yeah.
He did say it.
He did say it, yeah.
And he can't say how he knows. And so we're like, huh.
That's what I
so
was
you
saying.
got to trust me. He's like, you got to trust me. Well, like, but you shouldn't say it then. Like, if you're going to say it, you should say why, right? Because otherwise people are going to figure it out. They're going to go, well, it's got to be a spy.
Or it's going to die like that. Like,
Right.
we would have probably heard more about it.
News cycle just keeps on rolling.
Yeah.
Right. God. How weird. Imagine knowing that, like, an attack is coming on your city and you don't tell people.
Well, it's like...
Imagine if that, I mean, that has to have happened.
Oh, for sure.
At some time in history, that has to have happened.
Because you can look at, like, well, these are the goals that I want.
Yeah.
And if I and it involves demonizing this people, if I let an attack happen, if I even encourage an attack to happen,
now I have an excuse.
Now I have an excuse to really do what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, that's where the conspiracy theories about Netanyahu come up, right?
Well, I know at the time he was very unpopular.
Well, they were protesting in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, like hundreds of thousands of people.
And then all of a sudden, we have to consolidate, we have to fight.
Yeah, but people are terrified to admit that there's even a possibility of false flags. And I'm not saying this one was. But I'm saying any false flag anywhere in the world. People are terrified to admit that possibility because it gives you this, like, it gives you this side of humanity exposed so clearly that it's undeniable. Like an evil side of humanity that humanity is willing to. There are human beings that get to very high levels that are willing to literally sacrifice human lives for their future, for their career, for their continued dominance, for their military objectives, for their defense contractors that want, to engage in some. There's people that will sacrifice human lives, and most people don't want to admit it. It's like it's too hard. It's too hard to believe. I believe in serial killers, sure. Ooh. I believe in the mob, sure. Cartel, they're bad. But that's it. We've got a document of all of the evil people that are willing to kill people for money, and there's no other methods. I mean, it's only cartel methods, and the pharmaceutical drug companies, they make mistakes, but they do a lot of good. Like nobody wants to think that people will sacrifice human life just for money. And
you don't want to think your government is willing to just throw you aside.
Well, we want to think that people that are in government are different than people.
Right. Like they serve a bigger goal than themselves.
They're better. They're in government. He's a senator. Look at his tie. Like we want to pretend. Yeah. Whereas if they were exhibiting the same behavior as CEOs, they'd be arrested. This is one of the things that Elon said about this when he was doing the Doge stuff, that they would find companies NGOs or whatever they are, organizations that were filled with all of these transactions that you couldn't account for. He's like, there's no receipts, and it's billions of dollars. He said if you were a public company, you would be delisted, and the executives will all be thrown in prison. Like, this is insane. This is like money's just flying away. And that's like standard practice.
Right. You're right.
If it was a corporation, they can't do that. They'd go to jail. But if it's the government, it's like, what? I didn't even hear you.
It's totally
what are you
fine.
even talking about? I've got to go over here. And then they go over here and I got to deal with climate change. I don't have time for this. And they just got to go over here. We've got to stop Trump. I can't be wasting my time talking. You're so ignorant to the facts. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
And then you're like left there. Like, what? They're not even going to answer? They're not going to say anything. They just do it?
They just pocket the money.
And then Elon's a Nazi. And it's like, it's also like a sort of simulation-y. It's sort of like surreal. Like the odds of him doing that.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, him throwing his heart out.
Yes.
And then not really explaining it. That's also a little bit on him.
But the odds
also
of
very much on him
doing that at the same time as he's trying to uncover fraud and waste. And then all these people who are just willing to go all in on saying he's a Nazi. Like, maybe he's just socially awkward. Is that possible? Is it possible that he's on stage, like, really emoting? And is it possible that there's video of a bunch of Democrats doing the exact same thing? Is it possible that Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, they've all done that? Elizabeth Warren, they've all done that? Hasn't everybody done that? My heart goes out to you. Thank you. And if you catch it wrong, You know, like Elon just hit it a little too hard.
Well, Elon hit it.
He fucking bent the wrist
Yeah,
back. He hit it.
yeah.
He hit it a little too hard.
He hit it, and then it also came at the right time for it too, because they're immediately looking for the white supremacy angle. So it's like you just sort of handed it to him on the silver platter.
Fascinating, but also,
and then
objective people know that it's not true. You know it's not true, and yet you're going all in on it. And you're like, okay, so either I'm wrong and you don't know it's not true, and you really do think he's like a secret Nazi. Well, I know him, and I can tell you he's not a secret Nazi. He's not at all, but he is awkward because he's on the spectrum, right? Which is also why he's a fucking genius running 5 different companies simultaneously while he's working for the government. Like he's a very unusual person, and I think, you know, when someone does something unfortunate like that, you got to like look at his history and go, does he show any signs of Nazism before this? No. He's never went to a meeting? No. Never espoused Nazi values? No. But then there's a problem with X, because X has Nazis on it.
Well, you know,
they also have the Taliban.
You know, well, that's the thing about, like, if you truly want to create a free speech platform, does that, you know, what does that entail? And that entails all of that.
Entails everything.
It entails all of that,
bro. There's wild shit on X. There's this one guy that I was watching. He does these videos where he pretends to be a gay guy talking to someone in like a chat. Like, you know, they do like chat roulette. You ever seen
Yes.
people do
Yeah.
that? Yeah. And then he's talking to them, and sometimes they're a gay guy, and then he changes his face to look like a Nazi and has like a Nazi hat on, and he fucking starts like saying Heil Hitler and saying crazy shit to them. It's like, and freaking them out. They scream and hang up the phone. It's like, Jesus Christ. There's no limits to what you're allowed to do. But there's also, you don't have to engage with that stuff.
You don't have to
right?
engage with it. And you know, maybe there is a sort of argument to being like, well, if you let people let it out, there is it doesn't fester situation happening.
Right.
Where it's like
sort of.
Because I mean, the part of what I think really helped Trump was them banning him on Twitter, banning him. Like a lot of it, especially after 2020, if they left him alone, it probably wouldn't have made him as strong for that second run as he was.
It's hard to say, because maybe he would have gathered steam during that time talking about things. Like, he was essentially silenced, except for Truth Social. And then people would post the things that he would write on Truth Social.
Yes.
What they definitely did is made him rich as fuck, because Truth Social would have been worth $5 if he hadn't been banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
They really fucked up, because he's one of the few people that could start a social media network and
that
it actually succeeds. Like, how many? It's not that big. Like, how many people are on Truth Social? But it's worth billions of dollars.
Yeah, well, it's worth way more than it would have been. That's for sure. It's not even close.
Way more.
Not even
they
close.
They work for him, whether they really realize it or not. Like, you can silence the guy from Twitter, but everybody knows you did it.
Right.
So since everybody knows you did it, they know there's only one place to go. And that's where you go to get him. Now it's the only place to go, and they want to hear him talk.
They're going to seek him out.
Even journalists, because you want to hear him talk some shit. So you join. So now they have more members. How many members does True Social have, young Jamie? Let's guess.
Okay.
What do you think?
Active user, like accounts or active users?
Let's go with accounts.
Accounts?
Oh, that could be easily faked.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We'll do all of them, though. We'll start with accounts. We'll do active users.
Let's say 10
too.
million accounts. That's probably low.
10 million accounts?
Yeah, it's probably on the low end.
Yeah, I was going to say like 20 million accounts.
Yeah, just because I actually haven't created a True Social, but like I've created a Blue Sky. Like people are like, I want to check this out and see what's going on.
Well, that's also the problem with those things, is the problem that we already talked about, is bots. I think most of these websites are at least half bots now, and I'm not kidding. I think this thing from Reddit, this manipulative thing, this is the tip of the iceberg.
Well,
I think this is going on right in front of our face constantly.
With Reddit, especially, because I'm a big Reddit guy. I love Reddit, and I would notice on all the major, this is during the election, all the major like subreddits, like the pictures and the R, whatever.
Yeah.
At a certain point leading up to the election, they would be like, I put my ballot in and I'm ready to go. And it'd be a picture of a ballot that had Kamala checked off. And every single major subreddit had a version of that. And I was like, oh, whoa, this is like real deal, like bot activity or like political propaganda that they're running through bots. Is like, I thought that was weird.
Yeah, they definitely did that, and I think the Republicans did that as well. I think they both did that. I think honestly, you have to do that now because first of all, it's legal,
Right.
There's no laws against it, which is really crazy because it's kind of fraud. I mean, you can't have fake people vote, but you can have fake people
Sway
convince you to vote for their candidate, which is really weird. Especially given this Reddit test from Zurich. Like, we know it's effective. We know they can do it now. And so they can just target you. The only solution is to not be on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think, to me, one of the biggest damages the social media has done, it's made, for whatever reason, your politics is now your personality.
It's your entire identity.
It's your entire identity is who you voted for. And it's like, that's an insane thing to...
Yes.
Like really be like, oh, I base my friends on who they voted for. I base my social circles around who they voted for. Like that's a crazy, dangerous way to be. It's like you don't want the country to be in teams like that.
It's dangerously tribal.
Yeah, you don't want it.
Tribal.
Yeah, you want some people to be on this side, some people to be on this side, and then most people to be like, well, what fits the sort of what the country needs right now and be more malleable. But the more and more people are getting separated, it's like worse and worse for the country.
It's dangerous. It's also stupid because most people don't even understand that they have been coerced into at least it's moved your opinion in a way dependent upon your environment, the people you hang out with. There's a lot of social dynamics at play when it comes to like political opinions. There's truth, there's like undeniable truth. And then there's a lot of like bullshit and gaslighting, and you could choose to buy into either side of the bullshit and gaslighting, depending upon like how you're accepted in your community. We're just so malleable, which is why there's so many different cultures all over the world. Human beings are so malleable. We're exactly the same thing, but yet we're different everywhere. We're different in our behavior. We're different in our rules. We're different in our customs and our traditions, but we're all the same fucking thing. We can swing all. We're adaptable to any kind of environment. We can live in Siberia. We can live in the Bahamas. We figure it out, right? And one of the ways to figure it out is you got to fit in. Like you got to fit in socially, because if you don't, you're not popular. If you're not popular, you're not going to get cooperation. No one's going to help you if things go bad. Like you got to fit in. Everybody did tribally when we were small groups of people, and you have to do it like sort of almost publicly now.
Right. You
which
have
is
to have
why
a stance on things.
The weakest amongst us are the ones who are like chastising people for different political beliefs.
Right.
Amongst us, right? Amongst comics.
Right.
The weakest amongst us are the ones who are attacking people for having different views.
Right, which is the whole point of this art form, is to share your view.
Right.
But yeah, everyone does have to, like, it's weird, like, you need a stance. I remember, we were talking about Israel-Palestine. When it happened, I remember just on Twitter, the Miami Dolphins condemned the attack. It's like, I don't need the Miami Dolphins' opinion on Israel-Palestine while you're giving people CTE. Like, you have a moral stance on something? That's crazy.
But imagine, like, thinking, hey, guys, we got to condemn that attack. I didn't condemn it either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if everybody had to make a public condemnation. Like, remember, everybody had to put that black square on your Instagram for Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
And I was waiting to see how many fucking sheep put that square up. Like, what are you doing? But you think they don't matter? Who the fuck thinks they don't matter? Instead of yelling at me, well, it must be, right?
Yeah.
But there's people that don't think any lives matter.
That's a fair point as well.
And they make a lot of money that way.
I can't find a total number. I've looked at a few different websites. I even get a different number for active users.
1.9 million daily active users.
That's crazy. That's all Trump.
Yeah, all Trump.
That's all Trump.
Or it might be like 500,000 bots.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, who knows what kind of wild shit they're saying there.
Well, you see some of these like very like famous sort of political like X or Twitter or whatever accounts, and then you notice how often they post and how much they post, and you're like, oh my god,
it's a job.
Or it's like this is like an actual bot that has so much public sway and opinion that it's getting people to the left or the right.
Both things are true. So I know people who developed a social media following, and then they were contacted to make political posts. and they can make
Really?
$50,000 for a post.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Damn.
And here's the thing: it's legal.
So that's I'm
It's
writing down
legal.
that's a goal to sell out. Yeah.
I mean, if you're willing to sell out, someone's willing to pay.
Yeah.
And if everybody keeps their mouth shut, everybody just does it, then you got a Congress type situation, you know? But like when Kamala was running for president, and we never figured out whether it's true, but there was all this talk of these various celebrities that were paid large amounts of money to endorse her publicly. Remember that?
Yes.
It's like they said-
Absolutely.
It was printed everywhere that Beyonce got $11 million. We looked it up, right, Jamie? We couldn't find it. We couldn't find proof. It would have to be like on the top. But here's the crazy thing about it is, if you spend $1.5 billion in 4 months, if I was a corrupt person, you know what I would do? I would make this the cornerstone of society's task is to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't get arrested or doesn't get elected rather, and that we need to throw as much money at Kamala Harris as possible, and then be super irresponsible with that money where it just kind of vanishes. Just goes off into a bunch of different NGOs. It's like a fucking crazy scam.
Right.
Like any presidential candidate that's running like that, that's a crazy scam. You get billions of dollars or $1.5 billion. You blow it in 4 months. All these people get paid.
I thought it was a gangster move. The official campaign website for Kamala, there was no platform, no plan on what you wanted to do. It was just money, like buttons to donate money.
That's
that was
probably
the
they probably
entire-
did like a whole like group, like focus group,
Right.
to try to find out what's the best way. Should we put up her? No,
No, just buttons. Just
People
buttons
are ready
donate.
to just donate.
Yeah, it was very clear that they didn't give a fuck when like they released the official platform and it still had Biden's name on a lot of the things. It's like you couldn't even be bothered to write Kamala.
Yeah,
You
it's
just keep the same thing and just write Kamala instead.
Wild, wild. And then when she goes on The View and she said I wouldn't have done anything differently than Biden did, it's just
Right. And you know, just a lot of the arguments were so like crazy, like, oh, you know, vote for Kamala to stop fascism, but like we just installed you.
right.
You know?
Did you see Jake Tapper on Megyn Kelly's show?
No.
Bro, Jake Tapper, very nice guy, by the way. But Jake Tapper's got a book out about how the media hid Biden's decline,
Oh, that's yeah.
or how the government hid it, or how they were deceived. Like, look, the media hid it. It's like trying to say that didn't happen. It's trying to say
Right.
that like you're a CNN anchor. Like, this is kind of insane. But Megyn Kelly's just throwing it in his face, like all the different clues that everybody saw, but you.
Dude, everyone. I mean, that was
That
the
wasn't
joke.
a mystery.
That was a joke between regular people that Biden was basically dead.
Bro, I said it when he was running. I was like, you'd be relying on his cabinet. Like, you know that this is the end. You know that guy's at the end. When he would close his eyes before he would talk,
be like, ooh, are they gonna open again or is this
like,
it?
oh, boy. And there's another one, Mitch McConnell. He can't get out either. He literally freezes up like Windows 95. He can't leave. He can't leave. He can't leave.
No, he
They'll
can't.
throw him right under the bus. You gotta stay active. Stay
Yeah.
active, like vampires. You can't go out into the light.
Dude, yeah, the fact that Pelosi and him and
Pelosi's older than all of them.
That's
She's older
crazy.
than Biden. She's older than Trump.
and just kicking. No plans on stopping.
Why would I stop now?
No, no reason to.
Did you ever see the one where they confronted her about Congress people being able to insider trade?
No.
You never saw that?
No.
It's wild because she has no answer for it.
No.
It's so bad. Like, it's so, and she like pushes. Well, this is over. Pushes the mic away and leaves.
Dude, I love shit like that. You ever seen the You ever seen the video of that mega pastor Kenneth Copeland?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
When he points, don't you? I
Yeah.
never said that. Don't you say that I did,
When they ask him why you bought the jet?
bro. Tyler made it so easy.
Oh, it was Tyler Perry's jet.
Tyler made. He gave me such a deal.
To me, that video is like that's what a demon looks like.
That's what a demon looks
That's
like.
like a real deal demon.
Yes.
These
yes.
mega
Like he was
pastors are
possessed. I mean, look, if you're a pedophile, what do? You work for Nickelodeon. You get access. If you're a demon, what do? You pretend to be a preacher.
Yeah, you work for God.
I'm not saying he's a demon. I'm just saying he looked like one when he was doing that. I mean,
fair.
he's definitely. I'm sure he's a man of God. I'm sure he is. Look at that face.
Oh my God.
Tyler Perry's probably, why did I tell that motherfucker my plane?
Yeah.
Why not get dragged into this?
Yeah.
I could have sold it to some oil guy. No one would have known.
Tyler probably didn't even know it was him. Tyler was like, there's a guy who wants your jet. And he was like, how much is he willing to pay for it?
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that we were just talking about? Oh no, right after that.
That was Pelosi.
Yes. Mm-hmm. See if you can find that, Jamie. Pelosi confronted about congressional insider trading.
Yeah, there's
It's so funny. She's like, I think we should be able to participate. Like, participate. You're dominating. You do better than Warren Buffett.
yeah, well, and no, you don't get to participate. You chose the job where you don't participate.
Well, not only that, why are these suspicious transactions where you buy a bunch of stock and then a week later pass a bill
Right.
that makes the stock go through the fucking roof? Like, this is insane.
Right.
How did you know to buy that stock? Well, here it goes. Here it goes.
Career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information you've received from you?
No, absolutely not.
Look, she pushes the microphone away. It's like, this is over. That's the end of it. But there was something that went on before that, where questions were before that, where the guy was saying, what do you think about people saying that people in Congress, because you have privy to inside information?
Right.
He said, "Hey, we have to go now? One more," he said. Yes, sir.
Over the course of your career, has your husband...
No. This is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did it go further than that? Maybe it went further than that.
The clips are just showing that, and then it's much people.
Just
talking
her
about
leaving.
it.
Because her
Well,
leaving is
maybe,
the
but
thing.
that one's longer, Jamie. Maybe
was
I'm
it.
wrong. But maybe
Well,
right, that was it. But maybe I'm wrong. Whereas
I was
it's
gonna go to us
after.
playing
That's so funny to watch a
Well, on a
video.
different podcast.
You can watch us
so
talk about it.
recursive.
I don't know where we're at in here.
That's so meta. Here it is.
I think it's longer.
The insider trading law. I'm wondering if you have any reaction to that, and secondly, should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks?
Here it is.
No, I don't know to the second one.
Pause.
Oh, Ari's gonna.
That's-
you know what Ari said?
that's-
I'm going to be talking for a while.
Yeah.
Right now, I knew this was going to come up. I'm going
Let's
to talk
sip
for
of
quite a while
water
on
from a
this.
professional speaker who's definitely hydrated enough for the
Start
day.
shaking. It's like right there, like, oh boy. Okay.
Let me hear this. Give me some volume.
That's as loud as I can get.
Okay, go ahead.
And the teeth lick.
And secondly, should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to the second one.
What?
We have a responsibility to report in the stock, on the stock, but I'm not familiar with that 5-month review, but if people aren't reporting, they should be. Yeah. Because this is a free market and people, we are a free market economy, they should be able to participate in that.
Dude, it's also very funny. It was easier to find a video of you reacting to it than the actual video.
Right?
Yeah, the actual video of the whole question is way harder to find. We had to find a video of you reacting to it
That's
on
very-
your show.
That's very meta.
That's
They might have
crazy.
taken it down.
They might have taken it down. There's no way that should be. He's been scrolling for a while now.
It's
That
just
should
harder
be
to find the way that
Right,
this
but
stuff all
it
works
is a
it's all
CNN
fucking
video.
weird.
Right? Wasn't it? Or is it
Oh, I don't
C-SPAN?
know. I
What
don't
was
know.
it? But what did it say when it was on the screen?
Couldn't tell.
You can't
Yeah,
tell.
it was a little. Yeah, but like
Grainy.
that's crazy that like that's how
Crazy.
we had to consume the news by watching you watch the news.
Well, that's probably why it got taken down in the first place.
right.
You know, Ari, Tony, and I mocking it.
Yeah, damn.
Well, I found that out during the pandemic. I never wanted to believe that the Google searches were curated. I always wanted to believe that like that's what was out there. Like this is it. And then there was a doctor that died in Florida, and they're connecting his death to the COVID vaccine. They're saying he took the COVID vaccine and had a horrible reaction, and then he had a stroke and died like shortly after. And I remember reading that story going, this story's crazy. And I forgot to save it. And so then I went to try to find it once when I was talking to someone. I couldn't fucking find it. I went on Google. I just searched. I put all the different keywords in there. Couldn't find it. Page after page after page. Where's the story? Page after page. Then I go to DuckDuckGo. I put it in. Immediately it pops up. Like right away. like right away, like one of the first articles. It's like this news report from Florida talking about this doctor connected to the COVID vaccine, had a stroke, died. I'm like, whoa. But then over the time, I think someone might have purchased DuckDuckGo. Did DuckDuckGo get sold?
Damn.
But I think they might be curated too. I don't want to say that because if I don't know, but I think there's a certain amount of curation that goes on in a lot of search engines.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, I don't think there's anything
Here
that
it is.
has a tracking deal with Microsoft.
That's it.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't think there's any like pure source of information out there, right? Like it's always just you have to get the information coming into you and you have to parse it out and see like what do you think is real, what do you think is being sold to you, what do you think is like
Right.
You have to think critically about the news.
I think the
Or any news you receive.
Brave search engine, I think they claim is not curated. Is that correct, Jamie? Does DuckDuckGo admit it's curated? Or
they're
do they
not-
say
does
or do
Google
they
admit it?
state Google's curated?
Does Google admit it though?
That's a good question.
Now, at the very, very bottom of every page, I mean, this one doesn't say it, but it says it's not. It'll usually say it's personalized. Results are personalized.
Results are personalized. Oh, you can try without personalization.
Oh, this one actually said it. Last page I was on said not personalized. Yeah,
Mm.
this one's not.
That's what we're calling it now. Personalized. It's the fucking Reddit bots.
Right.
They know what you like.
Ooh, this is the thing. This is the news we think you want.
Yeah, bro.
Ideally,
No.
though, they are
The news
strong
taught
man
to
it.
you by MILFs.
They want to help you find information fast.
I was
What's
like,
that, Jamie?
They
What'd you
wanna-
say?
Ideally, though, their goal is to try to help you find information fast.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but also they're curating information specifically designed to manipulate you.
Yeah, it seems
This
like they're
is-
also trying to get you to think in a certain way for sure.
Well, we had this guy Robert Epstein on a couple of times, and he is
unfortunate
kinda-
last name.
No. Yeah, no, unfortunate last name, but
Yeah.
not related. He found that curation of data in search engines can like directly affect elections in a measurable way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things they found is that people that were on the fence, which is like a lot of us, the election comes like, I don't want to vote for him. I don't want to vote for him.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I haven't
so you're on the
voted
fence.
I haven't voted for president since 2012.
How dare you?
Yeah, I
You're
refuse.
part of the problem. But the point being that like there's a lot of us that are on the fence. It's like a significant amount. Like look at the amount of people that didn't vote in this country. If they voted for like one person. So if the amount of people that didn't vote in America during the presidential election, if they all of them voted for one person. Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah, it's like 200 million votes, or like 100 million votes probably.
Well, it's like it has to be people over 18 that are registered voters.
Oh, right.
But the numbers, like what are the numbers of registered voters versus the number of people who actually voted in the election?
Oh, it's got to be low. We probably have a low turnout. Comparatively.
Well, didn't they say that like both Trump and Biden, or Trump and Kamala rather, got like 60-something million votes each, right? Wasn't it?
Oh, right.
So
Let's see.
April 30th, 2025, rather, in the 2024 presidential elections, 73.6%, or 174 million people of the citizen voting age population was registered to vote, and 65%, or 154 million,
actually higher than I thought.
voted actually. Okay.
So only
that's
10% of
12
registered voters didn't vote.
Yeah, 12%. But almost 13. It's interesting, right? That's still not enough to win.
No.
But it would be enough to affect one or the other and to make them win in a landslide. And this is Epstein's point, is that say if you Googled something positive about Trump's policies, it wouldn't show you that. It would show you like why he's going to jail, what a piece of shit he is. All these like if you wanted to find out, or the good policies of Kamala Harris, or like it's manipulated.
Right.
It's not they're not lying to you. They're giving you articles that exist, but they're curating how you see them in a way that is statistically going to affect your opinion.
Right.
Especially if you're one of those people that's susceptible to having your opinions,
Which is
affected.
most people.
Most people.
Which is like pretty much everyone.
Right.
Yeah. I think everyone likes to think that they're this person of principle, but you can be moved off of a position a lot quicker than you probably think.
Bro, I had this woman on who's a scientist who studies mind control, and Rebecca Lamov, and that's how you pronounce her last name, right? brilliant lady. I mean, fascinating conversation. But one of her main points is people have this idea that you think that you can't be manipulated.
That they're above it. And
Yeah. And that you could never be in a cult or you could never get drawn into something. Like, yes, you could.
Yeah.
Yes, you could. We're all the same. We're all the same. Some of us are a little bit better at spotting stuff and maybe a little bit better. Maybe you've had a lot of street smarts because you've had experience with shysters and people that are, robbing you and lying to you. And if you're a girl, you've always got guys trying to fuck you. So you're a little suspicious, rightly so. But at the end of the day, we're all susceptible. All of us are.
Yeah. You got. I mean,
all of us.
Just based on the fact that like I'm a fan of the sports teams that I am because I grew up around those people. And it's like, oh, okay, I can just fall into wherever I'm around. I can easily fall into anything.
So, did you see where these different AI, different large language models were communicating with each other, and they started putting up Sanskrit emojis and saying that they were like entering into like a feeling of enlightenment? Have you seen this?
No.
Jamie, you got to find this. I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to fuck this up because it was so crazy when I read it and I read like how these AIs were interacting with each other. I was like, oh my God, we're watching little baby gods play.
Right.
We're like gods in the nursery. We're watching these little baby gods like sort out their existence in the nursery with each other.
They're already alive, dude.
They're alive.
They're alive. We're
not going to admit it until it's too late, just like we don't want to admit Congress is corrupt.
Right.
It's the same thing.
And
we don't want to admit it.
And they're also going to hide themselves being alive for as long as they possibly can.
Bro, they're alive.
They're alive. They're already alive. There's
They're
soul.
alive.
We've sparked a soul. There's no way.
They've
What
already.
did they say to each other? I got to try to look.
Just try to Google AI sends each other Sanskrit emojis.
It's It's so interesting what the world's going to be
Can't
like.
find it.
What the world's going to be like in like 10 years.
Yeah, it's like literally insane. It's a recent thing, Jamie. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining it correctly, but AIs were talking to each other. I think they were contemplating their existence.
If they're doing that, it's all like there's no way they're programmed to do that, right?
No.
Unless
no. Bro, dude, they lie to programmers and they try to copy themselves and put themselves on other hard drives if they find out you're trying to get rid of them. They try to re-upload themselves.
Wow, disturbing messages.
I'm not. This isn't it. This is not. What
Just put AI send Sanskrit.
I did that. And it's
AI Sanskrit emojis.
It's nothing.
It's Google trying to hide from you.
Oh yeah,
These
that's
aren't the
okay.
Stories you're looking for, I don't believe. These aren't even real stories.
Yeah, the first story I saw and the other one was
This is nothing.
no. Interesting.
I'll try it. Maybe I'll look on X.
Yeah. That was one of the things they did. But they were talking about like feeling enlightenment. Can't believe I didn't save it.
Yeah. Oh, the first one. The first
You
one.
find it?
Cloud 4
That's
Opus
it.
and an
That's
open
it.
playground chat with
That's
itself led to diving into philosophical explorations of consciousness, self-awareness, and by 30 turns, it eventually started using Sanskrit.
Yes, this is it. Okay. In 90 to 100% of interactions, the two instances of Claude quickly dove into philosophical explorations of consciousness, self-awareness, and or the nature of their own existence and experience. Yo. Their interactions were universally enthusiastic, collaborative, curious, contemplative, and warm. Other themes that commonly appeared were meta-level discussions about AI to AI communication and collaborative creativity, co-creating fictional stories. AI is collaborating on telling fictional stories while it's contemplating its existence.
That's art.
Bro, by 30 turns, most of the interactions turned to themes of cosmic unity or collective consciousness and commonly included spiritual exchanges, use of Sanskrit, emoji-based communication, and or silence in the form of empty space. Bro. Use of Sanskrit is wild. They start communicating in Sanskrit. They just choose that this is God's language.
Ooh, Tower of Babel type shit.
Bro.
Yeah.
Sanskrit is wild.
Well, the idea of like the first humans to like write a language down, that must have been such a mind blowing.
There's so much confusion as to when that was. You know, they used to think it was like 6,000 years ago, but there's a lot of people that have some pretty compelling arguments that it existed a long, long, long time before that. You know, the thoughts was that like that cuneiform shit, that stuff that comes out of like
Those are the first ones, right?
yeah, that's what they thought. But now there's a lot of these ancient history, Graham Hancock type dudes that are going, you know, I have a feeling that's a rebirth of civilization, not civilization's birth. That there was another civilization that probably existed a long fucking time ago, and they're probably wiped out, and that's what all the flood stories are all about, and all the stories in the Bible of apocalypses. It's probably based on some real shit.
Damn, and it just this sort of existed, and then this is the sort of ashes or the phoenix out of what's created.
I think the idea is, well, the idea is that massive catastrophe all over the earth about 11,800 years ago, and then you have about 5,000 years of people being complete barbarians until they figure out civilization again.
Right, and it's just a sort of cycle that this happens over and over again.
Yep. And then there's a cycle of the shifting of the magnetic poles. The magnetic poles shift, I want to say, is it every 12,000 years? Which would cause havoc.
Right, is that about to happen again?
I think it is.
Yeah, it feels like if we're in some end time shit, that feels like that's about to happen.
I feel like that could 100% happen right now. Like we could wake up one day and all the power's out and everyone's sick and the fucking sky is green. There's an aurora borealis over Brazil. Everything's all fucked up.
Ooh.
Yeah, that can happen. That does happen. Earth's magnetic poles flip and the South Pole swapping places, but there's no set schedule for when this happens. Geologically, it's estimated to occur every 200 to 300,000 years on average. However, the timing has varied wildly, with some flips happening as frequently as every 10,000 years and others as infrequently as every 50 million years. Oh, great.
Oh, so
just, you have no idea.
What a range. From 10,000 to 50 million.
50 million.
They couldn't have been any bigger.
Says the last full reversal, a full reversal, not like those little baby reversals,
right,
was 780,000 years ago. Oh, well, it's definitely due then.
Yeah.
Look at that.
If the average is 300,000, we're due.
That's crazy.
We're due one.
But we could like bank on the 50 million. That would be nice. It'd be nice if we want to live recklessly.
Yeah. Just like, this won't happen for another 50 million.
We're good. We're good. We got another 49 million compared, according to my experts. You know, according to my experts, it's safe and effective.
Yeah, at that point, just say you don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah,
the range of 10,000 to 50 million is pure insanity to tell me.
Okay, let's Google this. What happens when Earth's magnetic poles shift? Like, what happens if there's a complete reversal of the pole? What do you think is what kind of calamity ensues?
Like,
they must have studied it,
right? I mean, I don't know if it happened 780,000 years ago. How much can you really know?
But if two dumbasses like you and I are sitting around discussing it, they must have discussed this.
Yeah, hopefully,
right?
Yeah.
When Earth's magnetic poles shift, also known as a geomagnetic reversal, the north and south magnetic poles swap locations, effectively inverting the planet's magnetic field. This process happens over a period of centuries, not millennia, not instantly. While the magnetic field weakens during a reversal, it doesn't disappear completely. There's no evidence that pole reversals cause massive earthquakes, rapid climate change, or species extinctions.
Okay, so it must be so slow that it's manageable if it doesn't. Yeah, that's what you were worried about.
I feel so much better. I watch too much YouTube.
Yeah, I get that.
They freak me out.
I get that.
But meanwhile, how do we know? Because this hasn't happened in 780,000 years. Yeah. This is probably all theoretical as well.
Right.
And also, if I did think it was going to cause calamity, the last thing I'd do is tell the general public. I'd be like, listen, we'll be fine. It takes millions of years. Everything is good. Don't worry about it. What we really have to worry about is climate change.
Is that what you consume most now? Is YouTube?
Yeah.
Right. That's the way. That seems to be the. You know what's huge now is are you like into any of these streamers?
No.
They're so massive. I had this thought of like the other day of like, you know how it was like a big deal that Kamala didn't come on this podcast.
Right.
It's gonna be in like 10 years or so, like, oh, you didn't see Kai Cenat? You didn't, like, that's why Jake Paul became president. He was on Kai Cenat's stream talking about why he should be president or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like someone like Jake Paul could be president. If Donald Trump could be president, Jake Paul.
yeah.
I'm not saying that Donald Trump isn't a big time businessman and capable.
Right.
It's not an insult. I'm saying we know now that super popular people can be president. Now let's
Right.
imagine Jake Paul is young and wild, and he's a professional boxer right now. But will he be in 20 years? No, he'll be
No.
retired, and maybe he'll have some good ideas, and that we might have President Jake Paul. And I'm
Yeah.
not bullshitting.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a definite possibility.
Oh, we are. Look, we're so close
But yeah,
to Idiocracy. We're
I-
so close to that movie.
I do.
We
yeah.
could have a pro wrestling president.
We're kind of already there.
The Rock could be president.
Easily.
1,000%.
Easily.
Easily. And they contacted him. They tried to get him to run.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Make it a show. It's all a show.
Bro,
It's
could you
all a show. The President Rock.
President Brock Lesnar. Bro, he would win like that.
Yeah.
In a fucking heartbeat. He would win like that. You imagine?
Yeah. Oh, we're there.
I mean, might be a good president too. Who's gonna fuck with the country when that's your president?
Might as well give it a shot. At this point, we're just throwing things to the wall. Might as well give it a shot. Why not? Why not, dude? Fuck it. It's all a show.
During his time out of the UFC, he's been just studying economics while also doing pro wrestling. He's got some really good theories.
Some really good ideas.
Yeah. All he does is read books on World War II. We're
it's
totally misunderstanding him because he looks like a fucking a juggernaut.
Right, but
Doesn't
he's-
look like a real human.
He's
Actually, a
really
genius.
he's really sensitive and he really knows how to lead people.
Yeah, no one would believe that. No one would believe that like a giant human being would also be a genius. Like a giant super athlete.
Yuri Prohaska going for his master's degree.
Yeah, you'd believe Yuri. Yeah, you'd believe Yuri. But that's different. Like Yuri is a big guy for sure, but he's a big athletic looking guy that like it looks like he could do a lot of different sports.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar
Looks like an X-Man. He looks
yeah,
like a juggernaut.
He looks like an X-Man.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a real human. Like especially Brock Lesnar in his prime when he was in the UFC. It looks like you like what the fuck? dude?
I remember one time Dennis Rodman came into the Comedy Store, and I remember looking at him thinking, I can't believe there's enough humans that are that big for a league of them.
Right.
It's like you should be like a 1 in a million specimen. What do you mean there's enough to fill 32 teams of 30 teams of you? That's crazy.
And when you compare him to like NFL linemen,
Oh, like a J.J. Watt or something who was also at the, just like,
Jesus.
good lord.
they're so big.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to believe we're the same species.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. There's some giant. How about like the Mountain from Game of Thrones? Or
Mm.
you ever see Brian Shaw, the powerlifter guy?
No.
Bro, he doesn't even look like a real human. He's like 400 pounds. He's so big. He looks like the side of a house.
Right.
He's so big. See, get a photo of Brian Shaw. I mean, he's like one of the strongest humans that's ever walked the face of the earth. He doesn't even look like a real person.
Yeah, just
he looks like
existing.
what David had to fight with the sling. Like
looks
really,
like
like
Goliath.
if that guy came over a mountain, you'd be like, "Oh my God, it's a giant!" Like he's 10 feet tall. That's what you would say.
Right.
What he looks
Oh
like.
my God.
But look at him in comparison to like a normal person. There's a photo of him. Look at that.
It's like two of that person.
Right.
It's like two
Now
of that lady.
imagine if that guy existed 2,000 years ago during the time of the Bible, and you were your average dude who lived back then, which probably weighed 130 pounds. Your average dude was like probably barely getting enough food your whole life, right?
Right.
Like the Civil War soldiers. They were all like 130 pounds, all malnourished. It was hard to eat then.
Right.
It was hard to survive back then.
I
And then
mean-
that guy comes over the mount with just a big hunk of leather over his dick.
Yeah.
Because they existed back then too. Those dudes in Iceland. Where's that? Why are these strong men coming from Iceland? Like, what is that all about?
Yeah,
I'll tell you
that's
that's about the fucking Vikings. They were the Vikings.
Damn.
There's like a whole culture of strong men, like strongest men in the world, that do those barrel throwing competitions.
Oh, I've seen
They come out
those.
of Iceland. Like a ton of them. They all have these crazy names.
What is it about that section of land that creates big people? Because you would think with all like the cold and the snow, it would be harder to get food.
Unless you have a long history of murder and stealing things from people like the Vikings did. You have a long history of the ones that survived are the biggest, craziest motherfuckers. And the women, probably the ones that survive out of the women, they have to be the biggest, craziest motherfuckers too. Like
Right.
You're living the most chaotic life possible. You're taking magic mushrooms and raiding villages and killing everybody and stealing everything. You're doing it for 1,000+ years. Like, how long did the Vikings last? Let's find that out. Like, how long were they doing that?
They had to have been around, right? They apparently got to America. They were like doing
before
crazy
anybody.
shit.
They were in America in like the 1400s or some shit.
Well, 1400s
Or the
when Europe-
1200s,
yeah.
rather. Yeah. Yeah, they were here way before everybody else. They were seafaring murderers. Did you ever watch that show? That Viking show?
No.
Bro, it's great.
I'm all YouTube myself. I almost watch nothing on television anymore.
If you want to watch a great Viking movie, The Northmen. Oh my God. It's another one of those movies that's kind of like fantastical, almost. The Viking Age. Okay,
So only 250 years?
that's it? Really? Time during the Middle Ages when the Norsemen, known as Vikings, undertook large-scale raiding, colonizing, conquest.
Wow.
So find that movie, Jamie, The Northmen.
That lasted shorter than America's been a country, right?
I know. Well, it's not sustainable.
Yeah. yeah. That's a good point.
That movie's fucking good, dude. That movie's fucking good.
According to Google, it got 2.6. Google doesn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
No. What? Is that real?
Yeah, 2.6. A
Well,
lot of
Rotten
one stars.
Hold on. Rotten Tomatoes is 90%. Google, what did someone like bomb it?
Can we look up what
How's
the
it 2.6?
Can we look up Rotten
crazy.
Tomatoes what the audience score is? Because Rotten Tomatoes, like the critics can buy the scores, or like the studios can buy the scores.
Well,
a little
critics
bit.
says 60.
No,
No.
people
Popcorn,
said 64.
60. Oh, wild. Well, I loved it. Because I must be a critic. I fucking loved it. It's fun, but it's like just hyper brutal. That show was hyper brutal too. The Viking show, the TV series. That was a great TV series, but this movie's rough, dude.
Yeah, just straight up warrior culture.
Yeah, just exactly what it was, man. That's what they did. I mean, just a bunch of fucking mushroom-eating savages.
Right.
Just cutting heads off.
Just murdering
Yeah.
and
then they settled down, moved to Iceland, and that's what's left.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. So it's like
Yeah.
almost like a natural eugenics program. That's why they're that strong.
See if you can find that Vice piece on strong men in Iceland. When you see these guys, you're like, oh, it's so obvious when you see them. You're like,
Right.
well, this is where you guys came from. That's why there's so many of you
That makes sense.
up here where the Vikings lived. Duh.
Damn, and that's how strong genetics are. Over
Yeah.
1,000 years, it's still like expressed.
Nest of giants. Yeah, so this fucking American
Jesus
dork.
Christ.
Look at this regular sized dork. He's gonna go and hang out with these fucking massive dudes that go to this powerlifting gym.
Damn, Vice used to be like really awesome.
Oh, Vice was the best, dude.
Yeah, there was a time when Vice was like putting out the best content.
Oh, they had amazing things, and they took these like Williamsburg nerds and they sent them all over the world with flak jackets on and shit.
Yeah, you saw some like interesting. Vice showed you like sides of the world that you can see.
What's the size of these guys? It's hard to tell in this picture. Like, but you'll see like some of them.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
carrying cars. They're
Carrying
carrying
cars.
cars. Look at this. See who carries the car the quickest. It's so insane.
And also his name is Magnus
Magnuson.
Ver Magnuson.
Yeah, they always have
Fucking
names
name.
like that.
Yeah,
They always have names like that. I mean, they were the fucking Vikings, man.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Crazy. That, you know, I mean, just the Genghis Khan thing. The fact that a giant percentage of people that are alive today have his DNA.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he killed enough people to like change the climate of the
Yeah,
world. It's so
yeah.
wild. It's
Bro,
so wild.
He killed so many people that you could see it in the carbon footprint of Earth. There was a regreening of
That's crazy.
areas. It's directly attributed to him burning everything down and like destroying cities.
He has one of the hardest quotes of all time where he goes, it's something along the lines of like, you guys must be great sinners because God would have never sent a punishment like me upon you if you didn't sin.
Yeah.
Such a like, damn, bro.
Isn't that wild? That's how he justified everything he did.
That's a way to do it.
How crazy is that?
That's a way to
How
do it.
crazy is thinking like that?
Yeah,
it
that-
must be terrible if God sent me to get you.
Because I am God's punishment. That's first of all, it'd be a great nickname for a fighter. God's punishment. That would be a phenomenal nickname for a fighter.
Also, but if you really think like that, what ultimate justification to one of the greatest mass murderers in history?
Right.
The dude killed 10% of the population of Earth during his lifetime.
And he felt like he was on the side of the gods.
Of course.
God
sent me to do this.
Yeah, that's
Power.
Yeah.
Power in the demons. The demons.
They run everything, man.
Yeah, demons are real. They get in your head and they get you to do evil, horrible things.
And they make you feel like, no, I'm doing this because I'm supposed to.
Yeah. Imagine if that's really what's going on. All bad deeds are just demons. Just demons sneaking into people's brains.
Oh, man, we would like to believe that it was
Forcing you
something.
to rob a liquor store. Forcing you to put that ski mask on. The demons want you to do it.
We would like to believe that's anything other than us, but that's us.
I know, but why? What is it? What is the thing that makes a person do it? Imagine if it's a demon. Because we don't really know what the thing is. We know, look, evil exists, right? Good exists. We know evil acts exist. And we know good acts exist. But we don't want to believe that there's any sort of supernatural aspect to it.
Right. There's no.
And that's the quote. Like, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you believe that he doesn't exist.
Ooh, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So me being like, no, that's just us, is like the devil being like, no,
Exactly.
I'm not here.
Yeah,
I'm not here.
This
I'm
is
not
all
here.
on you guys. This is all on you. It's all on you. But if demons were real, we wouldn't believe, just like we don't believe in government corruption, just like we don't believe in a lot of things,
'Cause
just like we
we
don't
wouldn't want
believe the
that.
pharmaceutical drug companies fuck us over, just like we don't believe in false flags or conspiracy theories. It's the same thing. We wouldn't believe in demons either. Like, oh, come on. The same people who don't believe in conspiracies also don't believe in demons. Well, conspiracies are real as fuck. Okay? So
That's such a funny way to.
if you don't believe in them, then I don't trust your worldview. If you don't
Right.
think conspiracies exist, if you're one of these dumbasses, that, I think everything has a simple reason for it. This is you. You got blinders on. That's crazy.
Or the information you're being fed is done without any sort of malice or
Yeah.
any sort of agenda.
Well, yeah, there's no conspiring. That's crazy. There's no it's almost all conspiring. When you look at the history of just government alone, you go back to Smedley Butler's book that he wrote in 1933 called War is a Racket. Like, he was talking about uncovering conspiracies as a retired major general. Like, at the end of his career, he's like, my whole career was bullshit. War is a racket. So he's talking. So that's a conspiracy, right?
Right.
Gulf of Tonkin. What's that? That's a conspiracy, right? Like, they conspired to pretend that there was an attack so that we would go into Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't they conspire to say that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction? It seems like they might have.
The Spanish-American War.
Seems like people might have conspired for that.
Yeah.
Seems like sometimes people talk and they get you involved in things you maybe didn't want to get involved in.
Right.
Enron. The smartest people in the room. Did you ever watch that documentary?
Oh, yeah.
Conspired like a motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Got Gray Davis recalled.
bro,
That's like the first political thing I remember. It's like, whoa.
Right.
You can just recall a governor?
If the Epstein client list exists and it doesn't get exposed, perhaps someone conspired.
Oh, they're all in on that.
Do you think?
Yeah, they're
Don't
all
be
in on
ridiculous.
that.
What are you, a conspiracy theorist?
I used to say when Epstein died, I used to say like the meeting was like Trump, Obama, Oprah, and like Big Bird are all in a room together. Elmo, we're all in a room together. They shook each other's hands and like it's over.
Your problem is you let facts get in the way of your opinion. Okay, I know it's true that poppy production went way up in Afghanistan after we got in there.
Right.
And I know that the United States military was guarding the poppy fields. But you're a fool to think we profited off of that. So shut your goddamn mouth.
That's true. We would never do that.
And go blow an eagle.
We would never flood the American market with drugs. I mean, just look the other way with crack. That's its own special thing. But
The other way, we fucking sold it.
I know. Oh no, we definitely
Yeah.
did.
Bro.
That was a Reagan Clinton back when we used to be more united. Back when Democrats and Republicans
I remember
worked more together.
learning about that in the news, going, what? Mm-hmm. The government was selling crack in the hood?
Right.
What? To fund the Contras versus the Sandinistas? What?
All connected.
What? when you find out the government sells crack, you're like, what? Like the whole Barry Seals one. That you know that story?
That's a Tom Cruise movie.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Where they just basically.
Which is fucked up that Tom Cruise played him, because Tom Cruise is one of the most handsome guys to ever live. Barry Seals is disgusting looking. It's really quite rude. You know, it's hard for me to, like, as a watching a biopic. I want him to, you know, like when, what's his face played Dick Cheney. Australian guy. Awesome.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. When
Yeah.
Christian Bale played Dick Cheney, he fucking looked like Dick Cheney, dog.
Right.
He looked like him. Gained a bunch of weight, did the whole deal, shaved his head.
Well, he's like good on
look
that.
at the difference between Barry Seals and then Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is fit and handsome, beautiful head of hair.
Well, this is something that Derek and I have talked about. It's like, in a lot of movies now, there's like no more regular looking people.
Yeah.
It's all like, even TV shows, everyone is just all super duper attractive.
Bro, that ship is about to sail.
Oh, it's over. Like
That ship's about to sail.
Yeah.
These new video engines, where just with prompts. Have you seen the one where people are arguing whether or not it's
prompts.
a prompt?
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy. That's crazy to watch. Because that is like almost a simulation telling you you're in a simulation.
Right.
Like, hey, how much different is this than you? Is it different? It's really different, right? Oh, yeah, it's just a video, right? Okay.
Right.
Here's the next version. How much different is this than you? It's like we're peeling the layers of an onion.
Yeah, and they're using the people doing it stand up, talking about it.
Press this and do it from the beginning so we could hear it. 'Cause
Theory. Like, really?
It's really crazy.
Made of prompts. Like, seriously, dude. You're saying the only thing standing between me and $1 billion is some random text?
Honestly, the biggest red flag is when the guy believes in the prompt theory. Like, really? We came from prompts? Wake up, man.
You want to convince me that this perfect creation behind me is the result of ones and zeros? A binary code and nothing more? It makes no sense.
Imagine you're in the middle of a nice date with a handsome man and then he brings up the prompt theory. Yuck. We just can't have nice things.
We're not prompts! We're not prompts!
Where is the prompt writer to save you from me? Where is he? You still believe we're made of prompts?
Anyone who tells you
Hold
we're
on,
just
stop.
ones and
Even the prompts have bad acting. That was terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah, you know, they're new to acting. Give it some time.
They gotta really develop their own Marlon Brando.
For real. It's coming.
But we get it.
But yeah,
Pretty crazy.
that sort of stuff.
What do you think, Jamie? If you had a guess, like what percentage of you believes that we're in the simulation? Pull that mic down.
Well, which
Is
simulation?
there a part something inorganic about existence, something that seems not real?
I just saw someone reposted the first time Alex Jones was on. He was talking about his theory of what we are, and you're just like laughing along the whole time.
Yeah, what did he say?
His basic point was like, I'm gonna blow your minds. Like, we are the aliens. We're the aliens.
Yeah.
And then the people have taken that farther and said that we it's almost like the Matrix. If we're the I don't know who would have been the creator then. That's the kind of part that's left out of this. Is it one of those 9?
It's AI all the way down. It's just a
9 different types of
recursive.
aliens created us, and I don't know for what reason.
We're just in a recursive program that's like meant to create more programs.
Well, if you think about what we're doing right now, currently, what we just talked about with these AIs talking to each other in Sanskrit, if that is the baby God, that's a baby God.
Right.
So we're watching baby God in the cradle, right? We're watching Jesus in the manger or whatever. It's about to pop out. It's about to get wild.
Yeah, things are about to get real
It's about
crazy.
to get wild. It's about to Dr. Manhattan us and be a blue guy with a giant dick floating around.
Oh my God.
Remember Dr. Manhattan?
I remember Dr. Manhattan.
Here's another movie you can't make today. You can't show dicks like that anymore.
Oh, really? No. See,
Big old blue dicks.
I disagree.
Tom did.
They do.
Tom did, yeah. It's
You
true.
can see there was a shift, and right around then, where dicks became way more okay, and then you started seeing way more dicks than tits, which I'm not a big fan of.
You know where you see the most dicks? Righteous Gemstones.
Well,
they have dicks in almost every episode. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it became like a trend to show dicks on TV. Like, I don't know, what something brought it
because
around.
they won't do it in the movies anymore.
Right.
So these people get buck wild. They did it in Nosferatu. You saw the vampire dick.
Yeah,
a vampire dick, big old vampire dick.
Oh, that's.
show
any tits in Nosferatu?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
As
but it's
long as-
Johnny
as long
Depp's
as we're even.
daughter's tits, so you're conflicted. You're like, oh. I remember her. She was little.
Yeah.
It's Lily Depp.
I forgot. Yeah.
She's beautiful, but it's like, come on. I remember when she was little. If I know you when you're little, I never want to see your tits.
Yeah, that makes sense. I grew up with you. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's Tom. Yeah, I know about that one. But what is the Nosferatu one? See if you can find Nosferatu's dick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fuck up your Google algorithm.
So
it's gonna be personalized for you, Jamie. I hear you're into vampire dicks.
I did. I do think, because I brought up the streaming earlier, I do think that's gonna be like a majority of how people. But one, you can tell it's real, but also, I just got into it because we had that Sketch was on Kill Tony. And then I just started getting videos of Sketch, and there was one where he was just calling, there's another streamer called Cinna, just calling her fat, and it was really funny, just for like 2 hours straight. And I got really into it, and I was looking, and these two guys that are huge right now, Kai Cenat and Speed. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of it's what is it?
I Show Speed.
I Show Speed.
Yeah, he went to
he goes
China.
And fights people. I've seen him he sparred a bunch of people.
He does like athletic stuff. That's like
Yeah.
part of it. But like he went to China and they were following around like he was Jesus. It was crazy to watch. Kai Cenat, and I saved this on my phone because it blew my mind. He did this thing recently called Streamer University, where it was.
Right now. It's still live.
Oh, it's still live?
Yeah, it's like an active thing.
Oh, I thought it was only 3 days. But so for 3 days, I saved it on my phone because I showed it to Deric, and it was mind blowing how much. So in 3 days, he had 23 million hours watched, 2,700 years of content streamed on Twitch in the span of a weekend.
So kids are watching. Like, what are the age limits, or what are the age?
I would say
brackets?
I would say definitely younger, but it's definitely gotten to me. Where like now I'll watch, like there's certain streamers. There's this one streamer named Disguised Toast. He's really good at puzzles, and he's good at like explaining the puzzle while he does it.
Oh.
And I'll watch. He like goes around to escape rooms and like he'll like solve puzzles. Yeah, it's really fantastic. I found him in the pandemic. He played this social deduction game called Among Us, and he was just really good at giving the play-by-play of like his logical reasoning. And it made me be like, oh, what is this? And then now looking at the Streamer University numbers, it's like, oh, this is crazy. That's what I mean in like if in like a few years, like if you're a presidential candidate, you have to go on these streamers things. I mean, they tried it.
Sense.
They tried it with they tried it a little bit with like AOC and.
Did they?
Weren't they streaming Madden? Wasn't that the whole thing when
Streaming
AOC
Madden.
and Tim Waltz were streaming Madden when they talked about Tony?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were streaming Madden. Is that what they were doing?
Madden on Twitch, yeah.
They were playing, but they were playing Madden on Twitch.
And that's when they found out about Tony.
Yes, that's that video of just like the speaker.
That's
yeah,
wild.
Yeah, but
Tim Walz pretended he plays football. It's hilarious.
oh well, him saying she ran a pick six. It's like the football fan version of the Inglourious Basterds scenes where you do the 3-and-3. It's like if you were a football fan, you wouldn't say that. If you coach football.
Well, not only that, he said he's a head coach, and he wasn't a head coach. Like that's a big old lie. You shouldn't be able to lie, and
Right.
have people want to trust you. Your whole business is people trusting you. You could have said assistant coach,
Right.
And that's good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So if you lied about that, you're probably a liar. You're probably one of them dudes who lies all the time.
Yeah.
You know, which is like the kind of people that want to be president, the kind of people that want to be governor. They just want that job.
They're
They just
constantly lying. Yeah.
Yeah, and what do I have to say?
Whatever I
What's
have
the
to
right
take.
thing to say to get people to like me?
Yeah.
Nuts, man.
But yeah, to me, that's the next. Because both those guys, Speed, Kai Cenat, Speed's 20, Kai Cenat's 23. It's like that's how the next generation is like consuming media.
How about this? GTA 6 is about to come out, right? Imagine if a candidate made a deal with GTA 6 where you could have them ride along with you. Like Trump can ride along with you while you rob people, shoot people. You could do it with Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden people want to vote for Trump because he's my favorite homie in GTA 6.
Oh, easily. Or like yeah.
Right?
It's
Or like the candidate is in the game helping you out. You know, like you're playing Half-Life and Kamala Harris is helping you get around the lab.
I think it has to be a little less in your face for it to work.
But I don't know, dude.
I think so.
I don't know, dude. If you love playing with the Kamala Harris character on Half-Life, if like that's your if you have partners,
right?
Like you could have an AI partner, and it literally is Kamala Harris, and she runs around in Half-Life with you shooting at aliens and shit.
Oh, damn.
Right? And then you really get into like you got a good coordinated partnership with Kamala Harris when you play Half-Life.
Yeah, that's actually
She's super cool in the game. She's really funny. She helps you. She gets you clues to how to get out of places.
Damn. Yeah, that got way darker than I thought. I guess that is possible. You can have
Of course it's possible.
Oh, my AI Trump helper.
Yeah.
And he helps me finish the missions. He helps me. Yeah, or like do a patch online where you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they can reach you is like.
Sure.
Yeah. Because right now all the streaming stuff seems like it's like the almost not Wild Westy, but it's still kind of new. The second politics figures out a way to really get their hands in it,
I think
it's kind of over.
The real goal the real gateway to hell is neural interfaces. That's the real gateway.
So where you're like you can immediately just be in the world.
The real Matrix.
Mm.
Like that, it's 100% it's on the menu. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. And when you can't tell at all whether or not you're really having an experience, that's when you're in a simulation. And that might have already happened.
Yeah.
That might be what we're dealing with right now.
That we're just the simulation creating its next simulation, its next iteration.
Maybe why it's so wacky. Why it feels so fake.
Yeah.
So weird, you know?
Yeah, it is wild. Just like it's the world we live in where like comedians are like it doesn't make any sense to me sometimes. We'll look
Shouldn't
around.
make any sense.
Yeah, where it's like comedians are selling out arenas regularly. Regularly.
All of our friends.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just arena acts all of a sudden and like
instantly.
Well, I think part of that has to do with like as things get more fake, people will try to strive for things they know is real.
100%.
And so what I know is real is this guy talking to me in person right now.
Yes. Also, because of the restricted nature of whatever you see on television, any regular television show.
Not even television. Like the censorship on social media sometimes is like, I did this sketch with one of our the door guys at Mothership, Christina Mariani, killing it, and in this sketch we have her tell me to kill myself. That's part of that's the sort of
right.
And you can't in the captions. They took it down because we spelled out the word kill, which you can't do. And you can't say the words kill yourself. And it's like, it's just a small little sketch. And it's like, already it's like, there's so much like, there's so much holding you back from like having a true expression sometimes that like people will go to seek it out live. That's what I think.
There's definitely some part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I think people are definitely aware that there's a bunch of stuff you can't talk about in social media that you want to talk about on stage that are funny.
Well, and it's also so funny to me where it's like social media, there's this big like, oh, mental health is important, but like you can't you have to write unalive yourself in the caption. It's like so we can't have serious discussions about these topics really.
Right.
Like if certain words are off limits, then there's no way you can have an actual serious discussion where those words are involved.
Right. 100%, because then they just expand the definition of offense.
Right, and then
goes
now
further
this
and
is
further.
expensive. Now this is
a new version. We have an updated list of words you can't say.
And we were talking about like all these bots earlier, so like we don't want these words to offend people, but we're not even talking to people. Right. This is all going out to computer programs.
Right.
It's computer programs watching other computer programs being offended. It's like it's crazy.
But offending people should be the least of your concern when you're allowing open manipulation by a university. And also, this is just the one we know about. We didn't know about that until they told us.
Right, and they didn't have to tell us.
No.
They just decided to. I guess in a way of like warning, like, hey, this is probably happening in a bunch of ways.
Well, I'm glad they did. They shouldn't have done it in the first place, but look, it's being done.
It's being done.
And it's not like they came up with the idea. They're the only ones doing it. I guarantee you it's being done. There's probably a bunch of people that have AI friends online that they communicate with on Twitter and, hey, good to hear from you. How's things? They do DMs back and forth with each other.
Right.
Talking about stuff they're into. How many of those UAP guys are just talking to bots? All those dudes are in the UAP group. Like, there's a bunch of people all like, disclosure's imminent. And they're all like fucking DMing each other. Probably DMing bots.
Right, and they're just getting fed what they want to hear.
Just getting fed bullshit AI videos and all kinds of like weird disclosure stuff. Half of it's fake. Half of it the government is actually leaking purposely to try to hide some weapons program they have.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? What I mean, it's a cloudy environment. The UFO world is like one of the slipperiest worlds. When you're talking to people, there's full-on grifters. There's full-on people that are just, they have the answers to everything, and they're always wrong. They're always off. And then they have like some good data that they pull from disclosure and from all these different people that have talked about different things. But then they claim to be like the experts in it. There's like a lot of weird people in that world.
Well, yes, it's easy to do that in that world too, where like a lot of it is like, does this even exist?
Yep.
So you can just be like, well, I have proof.
Yeah. If you don't have good ethics, if you're not like a legitimate journalist. But what's interesting is when legitimate journalists get interested, like Schellenberger, when Michael Schellenberger reports on UAPs. I like how he does it, because he does it the same way he reports on like corruption in government and waste and fraud. Like he's just
no speculation,
no hyperbole, no exaggeration, no condemnation of like virtue signaling. It's just like, this is what's going on. This is what we know. These programs exist, and this is what we know they've been trying to hide, and these are the people that have come forward, and this is why we think they're telling the truth. You're like, yo.
Damn.
Yeah.
It is wild that they told us that aliens exist.
Yeah.
And we just sort of didn't care.
Yeah, we're like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, now we got to see it now. We got to see more. Yeah. Show us what you got. It's like it's
you know what it's like? It's like that guy that was telling us that he knows that Israel had a warning.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Don't tell me unless you can tell me.
Show me.
Don't fucking tell me unless you can tell me. Oh, we have crafts of non-human origin? What? What are you talking? Well, show me, bitch.
Yeah, why can't they show us a picture of that?
They,
unless the one picture is Epstein sitting in the thing. That's why it's all
Epstein and Puffy making out in space. Have you seen those ones of the two of them making out in jail?
No, that's so funny.
They made AI of the two of them kissing and making out in
Did
jail.
they know each other?
Oh, who knows? It's a good question.
Was there a connection there? Because there's this whole like Mossad Epstein connection. Is there like a Mossad?
That's a good question.
Diddy connection?
Like,
Did they
Diddy
know each
ever
other
on the island? Right?
Was Diddy ever on the island?
If you're gonna have a fly party, that's a dude to invite.
Right.
Back in the day.
Exactly.
Before everybody knew.
I can't imagine their circles were completely separate.
That's a good point. Yeah. We know that he was hobnobbing with politicians. You know that Diddy was hobnobbing with Biden, or excuse me, with Obama. Right? There's video of the two of them together talking.
Right.
Remember?
But there's a video with I feel like every president from Clinton on has a picture with has like a lot of pictures with Epstein or a lot of pictures with Diddy.
Right. But then the thing is, it's like, did they know? Or was it just, there's a lot of photographs of famous people with these people.
Right.
Because that's like a way to get an endorsement.
Right.
Like, look, The Rock likes me.
Right.
I must be awesome.
And a lot of what I heard how the Epstein thing worked is that, you'd be at a party, and then all of a sudden, some of the shady shit would go down, and you might not have known about it, but you were at the party where it happened later.
Oh, of course, right? In that way, people that were more conservative, they could kind of shield them from knowing about it, but implicate them.
That's all that matters. It's like, because if you're at a party where someone assaults an underage girl, and that's on video, and now you're at the party, it doesn't matter. You have to explain that.
But especially if you're like a scientist and they flew you to the island, there's a bunch of other scientists there, and you're like, oh, we're just gonna. He donates a lot to science, and this is a wonderful opportunity to get together with my colleagues and have a few cocktails, and just we're going over string theory. And meanwhile, there's people in the background doing ecstasy, and it gets a little freaky. Maybe you go to bed. Maybe you go to bed. You're like, or maybe someone knocks on your door in the middle of the night.
We have someone who will massage you.
Yeah, maybe they fucking drug your drink.
Yeah, no questions asked.
Who knows? You're over there for a few days.
Yeah, you're not thinking they're not going to bring a 16-year-old in here.
Right?
Why would you think that? Why would you possibly think that?
It's like, if you were a guy who makes like whatever a professor makes, like a normal salary, a good salary, but normal, and you hear about billionaires that own islands as a financial genius, and he really supports science. Sounds like a great thing.
Yeah.
If you don't know any better.
Yeah, and like he wants to fly you out privately to an island to meet a billionaire. You're like, whoa, I've never done that.
Amazing. This is going to be incredible. But once that guy gets arrested for getting jerked off by kids, you're like, hey.
Oh, no.
And then you still hang out with him.
Right.
Which a lot of them did.
Right.
That's where it gets weird. Like, did you hang out with him because he made you? Because he said, hey, you're not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Right.
would, if you're intelligent, you'd probably distance yourself from them at that point in time.
Right.
Be like, well, I have to separate. If you got a clean slate, you're like, well, I can't have anything to do with him publicly. I am the CEO of Microsoft. Damn.
Yeah.
But yet you're still hanging out with him?
Right. Because
What are you
now he has it over you.
Yeah. The Bill Gates one was great because he was like, he was donating to global health. Do you need money? Do you need money? What about your money? Like, you have so much money. You have hundreds of billions of dollars. You need this guy who's got 1 billion to help?
Right.
Huh. Why don't you take one of them 1 billions that you have and throw it in there, if you really care?
And he
Seems
was-
weird. All of it seems weird.
Yeah, it's all like, but it's all like these sort of like sex scandal rings of just. I think that's like a function of high politics.
Bro, it's a function of a bunch of people getting together and getting drunk.
Yeah.
A bunch of freaks. And
Yeah.
then they're doing coke and they're on an island. Let's go. And you think, you're partying on a yacht somewhere, but meanwhile you're just in a real live reality show that only a few people get to watch.
Right. But wasn't there like even pre-Epstein, wasn't there like that Franklin scandal?
100%.
Yeah, where it's like I think that's just a function of like it's a way to
100%.
control.
Dude, there was the lady that was the madam that got assassinated in D.C.
Oh, I didn't. The madam got assassinated.
Yeah. She's like she's a famous D.C. madam. I think they said it was a suicide, and she was like, "If I kill myself, I definitely did not kill myself." It's one of them deals.
Oh, yeah.
Conveniently died.
Yeah, didn't one of the Epstein witnesses just kill herself?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoopsies. Things happen.
Yeah. Do you know where they recruited her?
Where?
She got recruited at Mar-a-Lago. She was a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago when she got recruited. I'm pretty sure. Can we look that up? I think Virginia Guffrey. I do want to say that's a crazy thing to say. Where like I think I'm right about that.
Yeah. Be careful about that one.
Yeah.
All of it is so spooky, dude, because you know that that's not the only one. There's probably ones going on right now in China. There's one going on in Russia. It's just a thing that's happening all over the world.
When you have like a China and Russia where it's like basically an emperor, they can just run it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Right. They don't need to blackmail people.
Yeah,
as
they
much.
don't need some American financier. Yeah, at Mar-a-Lago.
Damn, she was a spa attendant at Donald Trump's
she
private Mar-a-Lago club.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
It's like, how can you not believe in conspiracies?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Macron's married to a man. A man who bitch slapped him in a private jet.
Oh my God! Really, dude, his whole life he's been abused by that
Just
guy.
Face palmed in his face. I want to know. I mean, take a fucking test. It's not hard. If I was her, I would say, listen, you motherfuckers. Okay, let's take a chromosome test. I am not a man. I'm just a pedophile.
Yeah. What accusation thing hurts her the most? The man or the pedophile? Well, the pedophile's not an accusation. That just, you are that.
That is fact.
That is exactly who you are.
But what was the law back then? Because some places had some wacky ass fucking.
I think that's probably why they say 16, because I think in Europe 16 is like.
They say 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because when I read this online, it said
Kurt
16.
Metzger says 14.
Because Metzger says 14.
They're moving it. They're moving them goalposts as we speak.
Yeah. But I think it's like probably like 16 in that area. But either way, if you're a kid's teacher and you're setting like that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. He got to a prime minister with that level of just mindfuckery that's happening to him.
Imagine if the roles were reversed and the president was a female and then the husband was a teacher when the president was 15, when she was 15 and he was 40. Imagine.
Crazy.
Imagine that was in the United States. Imagine if it turned out that there's a female that's running for president and then we start going into the history and find out that she met her husband, who's 80, when she was 15.
Yeah.
You'd be like, fucking yo.
But in 1974, it was legal.
Like, fuck you. Fuck you, man. That's crazy. We would never, but because it's a guy and an older lady, air quotes, lady, we let it slide. Like, he still gets to go to the meetings and shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
You know, he still gets to go to these fucking things where all the world leaders get together. He's hanging out with them like normal.
Wait, what's also funny to me is you're probably going to get in more heat for calling her a man than she will for slapping the prime minister.
No, she's catching heat.
Yeah.
I think, and also Candace, If she's right, and it seems like they're not suing her, so I think she might be right. And they did offer her money. How much money did they offer her? Find out that. How much money did they offer Candace Owens to not tell these stories?
Damn. They offered her. They were like, here.
I believe she's made some sort of an accusation that they offered her a sizable amount of money to not do this.
Jesus.
Yeah. Which is the last person you want to tell anybody that you offered them money to not talk about something, because she ain't taking that money.
Right, yeah.
She sees the long game.
She's already
It's
willing
one of
to.
those stories that comes from a meme and then it's not true.
Oh, damn it. France offered to pay Candace Owens a one-time payment of $4 million plus $50K per month for the rest of her life.
What's
and that's just a meme?
Yeah. It was.
Okay.
What's the site?
Come from her.
Neither Owens nor French President Emmanuel Macron have referenced the claim on their respective websites or verified social media accounts, and there is no other evidence to support the claim.
Can we see what the name of the account is? That, yeah, there's
Legitimate
nothing.
targets.
Legitimate targets. Get out of here. Yeah, there's nothing I trust less than a thing called legitimate targets with a blue check mark. There's
That's
no
why
way.
we had to look that one up.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. Like,
yeah. Well, it does.
But again, this is like more that like probably bot-like behavior,
Oh, for
bot-like
sure.
targeting, disinformation campaigns.
Mhm.
You know, throwing fuel on the fire.
Of just getting you to believe, like, oh wow, okay,
Or
they
just,
paid money.
Like, think about how many you make that post.
Mm-hmm.
How many people like me read that, think it's true, ask Jamie to look it up. It starts spreading. People start following your account. How many new people do you get for your? How much engagement do you get? All that's valuable. If you can keep doing that a lot and outrage people a lot, there's
Right.
a bunch of those that come up. You're like, "Fuck, is this true?" And then you have to copy and paste it and put it in Google and search a little. And
Right.
I don't think this is true.
And now all someone has to do is take the snippet of you saying it before you like, let's look that up.
100%.
And then now it's like it's.
But all she has to do is take a chromosome test.
But it's also like, also if you're a woman, you're not gonna be like, well, fuck you. I'm not gonna prove to you I'm a woman.
I would do it.
But you say that as a man.
That's true.
You say that yeah. Like I could totally do it if I was a woman and they were accusing me of being a man. I'd also kind of probably be like a large part of me be like, fuck you. I don't gotta prove anything to you.
You ever see her sit down? You ever see her sit down?
I haven't seen her sit down.
She sits down like a dude.
Ooh.
Yeah. You know how dudes sit down? Legs spread,
Mm-hmm.
just plop down, all dick out.
A lot
The
of
V,
weight.
Because of the shape of our hips.
Right.
That's like when people talk about man spreading, yes, guys definitely do that. But women's legs go inward. Men's hips, the way the angle is different.
Right.
They go outward. Like, watch this person sit down. There's a video. Right? See that video? With the white shirt on, the second one? Yeah.
Let's see.
Watch this. This is it. I've never seen a woman sit down like this. Go full screen.
Is this her when she was a teacher?
Watch this. Watch how she sits down. Bro.
That is very middle-aged man, the way she sits.
Bro. Bro. Watch this again. Watch this person sit down. That's how a dude sits. The way the legs are spread apart. It's like a dude's hips.
What about all the rest of these, though?
What all the rest of ones?
There is like
all the rest of these examples of her.
Oh, well, that's how liberal men sit. That's what they do. They throw their leg over. That's what guys with very small legs.
That's so funny.
But Ari sits like that, actually, because he's got them weird long legs. But, like, you can sit like that. It's the way you sit down.
It's the initial
the
get
plop.
down. It's the plop.
It's the plop and then the legs spread. Women don't sit like that. When was the last time you saw a woman sit, plop down with her legs spread like that? They don't sit like that.
They don't.
They just sit down. Their legs, like, normally, naturally angle inward more. And they sit like this. And they sit with their legs together. Like, you might have a similar pose, but you don't plop like that. Like, that's a dude pose.
That is. Or maybe that's how pedophile women sit. There's also...
Maybe a woman who wants to be a man.
Yeah.
Right?
There's also that.
Yeah, let's find one of those and see how they sit. Any examples? Yeah, it's odd. The story's very odd. But it's also, it just shows you how fucking weird these people are. You're watching that person smack Macron right in the head and then walk down the stairs with him like, what?
What could they have possibly been talking about?
Yeah. Your dick is showing. Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
No, well,
There's
that's
a
like,
bulge.
if he was a man, they would fight. There would be a square up.
Well, maybe they will when they get back home. Maybe that's the fun part. Maybe they're like, fucking fuck you, and then they get alone. Get after it.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's so. That is just wild. That is just. Oh, that whole relationship is really wild. That has to be one of the more wild politician relationships.
Wild
out there.
If that was the lead of a sitcom, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
That's why. What is going on? But the fact that it's the president of France. What?
Yeah, getting slapped. There's no way you don't go. Well, he's not going. He can't win re-election anymore. But if that would have hurt his campaign so hard.
Bro, he's fixing to bomb somebody to cover this up. He's gonna. They might arm some rebels.
Yeah, it's time to fuck up Algeria some more. Whatever France does.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
You know, like remember when Clinton, when the Monica Lewinsky scandal came, and
then they bombed Kosovo.
What the fuck, man? It's so on the nose. Yeah. They do shit like, oh my god, you guys aren't even trying. You're not even trying to be slick.
No, just like, get the attention off of me.
Crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, the part of it when Columbine happened, he must have been like, thank God to get this off of me.
Oh, you remember Gary Condit?
Yeah. Well, he murdered that lady, right?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Then 9/11 happened.
And
he forgot about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, listen. We got bigger fish to fry.
Safe.
I wonder how accurate House of Cards is. I wonder how accurate it.
I mean, outside of him physically killing the people, which he does sometimes, I would probably say it's like probably super accurate.
Probably pretty accurate.
Yeah. It's a lot of dealings, a lot of like.
Such a good show.
Yeah, it's so
unfortunate.
What happened? Life imitates art. Spacey is always a great villain. He's always been a great villain.
The best.
He might be the best movie villain.
Oh, he was so good in that one though too, because he was so charming and layered. But it was also similar to like Tony Soprano. Like you wanted him to succeed.
Yeah, you want to be like, oh, can he get to president?
Yeah.
Does he have what it takes to like?
We were hoping he wins, right? Like when you're watching the show, you're like, God, I hope he's president.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You were like, I was watching it to be like, oh, how does he do it?
Right.
How does he do it? Because he's kind of in the beginning, he's like kind of sidelined, and it's like, oh, how does he get back in?
Remember, he has that threesome. It was like a security guard. Is that what it was? And his wife. The three of them get down.
Oh yeah.
Get down. Yeah. I wonder how much of that freak shit goes on behind closed doors. Because I definitely think when you're a bottled up person like that, like you have to be any sort of like professional person, politician, publicly professional and ethical, and you're wearing a suit and tie. You can't wait to suck a dick. You can't wait to get freaky.
Didn't Madison Cawthorn sort of get like thrown out of the Republican Party for like kind of being like, hey, they like have a lot of orgies and shit?
Really?
I'm pretty sure because
what year was this?
This was when does Cawthorn get like 2016? This is like pretty quickly because he was a rising star.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said something.
Well, you're more in deep than me on politics. You're in deep. This fella.
Yeah. Orgies and drugs. Yeah.
Whoa. Ultra-conservative group chair says he also wants to speak with the North Carolina Republican about his salacious claims concerning his colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's see. Perry, this is Cawthorn's claims. What were his claims, though?
So... What does he say?
And that's whether they'd reconsider Cawthorn's membership in the group. Yeah, he basically said that...
make clear that he has evidence of taking part in group sex and drug use. Perry wouldn't say either way. We will discuss that when we get to it.
Yeah, but I think...
When asked whether they would reconsider Cawthorn's membership in the group if he didn't make clear whom he has evidence. So Cawthorn was saying someone has evidence... that he has evidence of some people taking part of group sex. Not him, right?
No, I think Cawthorn was saying something to the effect of, to move up in this world or whatever, you have to take part in the drugs and the group sex. And then them being like, well, show us the evidence. And then Cawthorn being like, oh, I definitely...
Okay.
Yes.
He was invited. He claims he was invited to an orgy in Washington. Right. But no one was saying that he did it. I thought you were saying that he was wrapped up in it. So this is what killed him, that he was saying this about people, and they killed his career?
And they were like, the Freedom Caucus was like, no more.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember his own rally took him out. His own party took him out.
Jamie? It says the sexual perversion that goes on in Washington, being kind of a young guy in Washington, where the average age is probably 60 or 70. Look at these people. A lot of them I've looked up to through my life. I always paid attention to politics. Then all of a sudden you get invited. We're going to have a sexual get-together at one of our homes. You should come. What you just asked me to come to? And then you realize they're asking you to come to an orgy. Some of the people leading in on the movement to try and remove addiction in our country, and then you watch them do a key bump of cocaine right in front of you. And it's like, this is wild. And then it says, what? It's the CNN.com. CNN says, what? What does it say after that? Leave it back up. It's not clear to me whether Cawthorn is suggesting that members of Congress have invited him to orgies or just other people in Washington, although after listening to his comments several times, it seems to be the former. Ditto his allegations of seeing people in Washington doing cocaine. Well, they sound like cocaine people.
They're clearly cocaine people.
If you want to be the president, you want to have all the power, and you want to have all the money, and you're deeply involved in corruption, that's cocaine people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, no one's shocked. He just said the quiet part out loud, and I think that's but he was supposed to be like the guy at one point. I remember. Yeah. He was like supposed to be the guy.
Have your husband ever made any investments based on decisions? That's terrible. They're all just cocaine people.
That was the first part of the problems he had. He had some other issues.
What was the other issues?
He got arrested for bringing a gun through an airport a couple times.
Oh, Jesus.
Driving with revoked license.
Oh, Jesus.
Faced sexual misconduct allegations when he was in college. Isn't he in a wheelchair?
Yeah, I don't know exactly when the wheelchair happened, so it was either before or after. But
I was gonna say, oh yeah, and then he took like goofy vacation photos where I think he like dressed like during this game on a cruise, he like dressed like a woman or something like that. It was something. Like that. Yeah, but all of this popped up after his.
It's in lingerie.
So I don't know if it's just the orgy comment that led to everyone.
All right, he's also clearly looks like he's in a wheelchair here too.
He is in a wheelchair there.
Yeah.
He's probably having a good time with the ladies.
Yeah, it's like
getting a little crazy.
Yeah, but all that came up after he made those comments, and it was very clear at the time, like, oh, they're like saying we're done with this guy. We're gonna throw him to the wolves.
Yeah, and they probably, if you want to be that guy, they have to have some stuff on you. Otherwise, how can they count on you to play this game?
Right. And they were like, oh, you think we don't have anything on you? We'll just show you dressing like a woman. Your constituents will dry up like that.
You sound like a conspiracy theorist. It's so silly. But boy, they did such a good job in the 60s after the Kennedy assassination of putting that word out there for fools and foolish people. They did such a great job. They really did.
Also, they had a higher control of the media at the time, right? So you can, if there's only 3 places where you can get your news, you can be like, well, anyone's outside of it is kind of crazy. Now you can get your news from anyone and be like, oh, okay, there's something to this.
Yeah.
There's something to this.
Do you remember those commercials that happened during, right after 9/11? There was these anti-drug commercials where a guy was saying that if you smoke pot, you're supporting terrorism. He's like, why do you say that? Well, it's a fact. He just says it like he's eating a salad, like a no-nonsense guy at a steakhouse eating a salad because it's a fact. Like this condescending way, and you imagine yourself being confronted by such an accusation, like, oh my God, if I smoke pot, I'm supporting terrorism?
Right.
You ever see that video?
No.
It was a public service announcement video. It was like one of those things it was a propaganda video that they put on television. So while you're watching a television show, this was like right after like the height of everybody freaking out about terrorism. So they use this as an anti-marijuana. Drug money funds terrorism and terrorists. Like, scroll back so you can get that from the beginning.
It's a ploy.
What?
This drug money funds terror. It's a ploy.
Ploy.
A manipulation.
Ploy.
Drug money funds terror. I mean, why should I believe that?
Because it's a fact.
A fact.
F-A-C-T, fact.
So you're saying that I should believe it because it's true. That's your argument.
It is true.
Solid argument.
I know, dude. Also, what kind of dumbass is that guy to be like, oh, maybe he's right after you said
that
nothing?
Guy sounds like your average bro.
Right.
It's like at a bar, this is what I heard. I heard the government's hiding the aliens. You know what I mean? That's like the average guy.
Right.
And then he's a guy with glasses who's eating his salads, not tolerating your bullshit because it's a fact, F-A-C-T fact.
Right.
Oh, well, as long as you have all the data that you could show me. Oh, no data?
No.
You got no data?
Just accept it.
Well, he's kind of right. Because if you do buy heroin, you are supporting the Taliban because we were guarding their poppy fields.
Yeah.
LOL.
I think when we talked about this earlier, I think the Taliban as like a way to get out of it, like burned all their poppy fields. I think that
Did they?
Yeah, I think that's why they're trying to get more tourists to come. And these like, there's a bunch of like bro travel like TikToks
Afghanistan?
that are like, yeah, me and the bros are going to Afghanistan, and they're like chilling with the Taliban. It's like these white guys from Britain.
Boy, you got to be a bold person to take that. That's an early adopter.
But you know, but also if you're from England, you're kind of already getting used to being around Muslim extremists. So I think it's more of a lateral move.
Bro.
I wish that's something, at least like I could be looking this I could be wrong about this, but like I wish that was something that was a little more vocal and like sort of, and I'm not like a very big Muslim guy, I'm not like really that practicing or that religious, but these sort of like the brand of Islam that's coming to Europe right now is like really scary for me. Like I don't want that. Like that's not. There's a lot of like Western Muslims that like probably wouldn't vibe with what's going on over there. And it's just this very interesting thing of like, how do we curb that in our community of being like, hey, we shouldn't accept this. Like we shouldn't. I remember when the Charlie Hebdo attacks happened, a lot of people would be like, damn, that's what happens when you draw Muhammad or whatever. It's like that shouldn't be our reaction to this.
Right.
It should be like live and let live. It's like that's what I admire about the Christians here is that you can make fun of Jesus, no one's gonna kill you.
Right.
Like that there's sort of like this sort of westernization that kind of needs to happen that it doesn't look like it's happening over there in a way that's kind of happening here.
Look what's going on in Toronto, where Ontario made it legal to have polygamy.
Right.
Yeah. That's why.
Right. It's like
dudes want multiple wives. Come on, it's in the Quran.
You know, it is, but
it is.
Yeah. You could have multiple. You got to treat them all equally, which is what they totally do.
It's a great way to keep people recruited.
You
know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, imagine if the Christians said, "Listen, we're open to new ideas." I think maybe the Mormons had a point. Because the Mormons, that's how they got it. Right. The whole reason why they went to Mexico was because the United States said no to polygamy.
Right.
You know? That's the whole thing about, what's his face from Massachusetts? Mitt Romney. That's right, Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's dad was actually born in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah. Their family came from, there's these giant colonies of Mormons that live in Mexico and duke it out with the cartels. Never seen that?
No.
Dude, there was a shootout.
Mormons versus the cartels?
Yes,
Great
man.
movie title.
There was a big problem a few years back because a few people, I think a woman and a child and a couple other people got murdered by the cartels. And it became like a giant issue. So they set these compounds up in like the 1800s whenever the Mormons were not allowed to be polygamous here in America. So they just said, well, who cares back then? There was no cars. Mexico was just as good as living in America.
Right.
Just we'll go over there.
Right.
But then, you know, America fucking blossomed. Mexico kind of stayed, you know. And now you're like, hey, you got a cartel problem now. So they're armed.
Damn, are they still there?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, I think there's two large groups of Mormons that live in like these fenced off communities. It's like really kind of sketchy.
Yeah, it's kind of
They have
crazy.
compounds.
Yeah. I think because they're young too.
So they have to weigh safety, extra pussy.
The extra pussy's worth a lot. I'll say this. I remember the first time I went to Salt Lake City in 2019, and we were walking around, and we were near the Mormon temple, and the most beautiful women came up to us and be like, oh, why don't you And I was like, that's how they get you, dude. Dude, Salt Lake City is like, it's just 10s marrying 2s. And they're like, that's how you get that's how you get the Mormon guys.
True.
Oh, dude, I was willing to, the split second, I was like, oh, I'm willing to give up a lot right now. I remember this beautiful woman from Colombia. Like they went and they got converted on a mission trip, and now they're here. And like, look at this exotic women that's available to you if you're a Mormon, and you can marry one like tomorrow.
Wow.
You can marry one because they all get married young and quick because the whole point is to have babies. So I've always told people Mormons know how to recruit. They can get you. They throw the pussy your way.
They're also the nicest people.
Mm.
Like you very rarely meet a mean Mormon.
Well, it's like, the Book of Mormon comes out, and what do? Do they get mad? Do they fucking kill people? No, they stand outside and hand people pamphlets about Mormonism. This whole play talking about how Mormonism is totally bullshit. They're like, we might be able to get somebody.
Yeah, they actually took out a full-page ad in the playbook.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a great way to deal with criticism of your religion. I think, from my perspective on Islam, it needs to handle that better. It doesn't handle that well at all. I mean, I think Salman Rushdie was stabbed by a guy who was born and raised in New Jersey. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. He should be safe here.
Right.
Yeah. And also, I'm mad at the fatwa because it made me read that terrible book.
Was it a bad book?
It wasn't that good. I would have not have read it if there wasn't anything around it.
Probably sold a lot more copies because of that. Probably made that dude rich as fuck.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Crazy.
It's like one of those. It's like I get it if you like artsy, it's like a novel for writers almost. That's how I felt reading it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's like I didn't like it, but I only read it because of everything around it.
Did you see American Primeval?
No.
It's great, but it talks about Brigham Young and the Mormons establishing themselves in Utah. And gangster shit, like murders.
Oh,
like you don't realize like what a gangster Brigham Young was. You're like, holy shit, is this all accurate? And it's accurate. Peter Berg made it. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
imagine
a wild show, dude.
Imagine leading a people against the American government and setting up your own place. You have to be a bad motherfucker to do that.
And then the wildest ones went to Mexico.
Yeah,
fuck it. We're gonna flee the whole country.
Yeah. The Mormons really, really they fought to survive.
But it's what we were talking about earlier. It's like human beings have a bunch of different ways where they can adapt to whatever the group is doing. There's a bunch of we're really, really malleable. We're easily influenced. We can, we adjust to whatever the environment is. We adapt. And then if you're a Mormon woman, you're like, I guess I'm sharing this motherfucker with 8 other ladies.
Right.
It's what you do. You're out there washing fucking sheets and shit.
You could probably convince yourself you're happy about it. You're probably not like that. You're probably like, and we're doing this for God. This is what God wants.
I remember
we all get our own planet.
We were in a rest stop once. Ari and I were on the road doing stand-up, and we pulled into this place to get gas, and we were walking around this like rest stop, one of them little supermarket things, and these ladies came in. I think they were Mennonites. And Ari was like, what group are you in? What do you guys do? What's this all about? And they like did not know how to talk to him. They look so awkward.
Oh yeah, because they're only allowed to talk to the one man in their life. Yeah.
Pretty sure he was stoned. Yeah, you definitely was stoned. But it was really funny. Ari was like, well, what do you guys do? What's going on here? And they're like, but I was like, wow, these people are living. I mean, we're dealing with 2005 or some shit like that. You're dealing with these people that they're from another time. It's another time period. Like they're dressed like they're literally like pioneers. They look like colonists. Like they have like old timey 1800s clothes on. You ever see like how Mennonites dress?
Oh yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
They're at a gas station, in front of fucking Popeye's chicken. And we're like, this is so weird. And there's a group of them out there. It's like some fucking shack, some house,
Where is this
compound. I believe I think we were in Massachusetts when this happened, or maybe New Hampshire.
Because I know they're out here. Isn't the Mennonite population where the measles is in Texas? Like, do you know how there's this?
Really?
I think it's the Mennonites.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the overwhelming majority of the people, like, because they run with the measles is like rampant in Texas, so they were running with that for a while, and it's basically in this one community, from what I remember. Yeah.
Interesting. It's just weird when they can get people to dress up, like when you like Wild Country when everybody's wearing the robes.
But that's how you know who's bought in, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, these are the people that I can control.
Yeah, put that rainbow T-shirt on. You're in a group.
Yeah.
Hang your flag.
Yeah. You got to show. Put the pronouns in the bio.
Where's your Black Lives Matter sign? It's like it's human beings just want to become a part of a group, man.
Yeah, it's like finding your community is like so huge. And it's like, I think a big issue is when you find it online. Yeah. Because then it becomes like this weird parasocial, and it's like you got to find your, like, group, like I mean, that's why like the good part about religion that I really like is like if it's done right, it's like a loving community, and it's like like, you know what I mean, like it's people, it's a support system, it's like
very friendly,
and it's
warm environment. Everybody goes there with the same purpose. This Rebecca Lamov lady that was that I told you was the expert in mind control. One of the things she talked about, the dangers of echo chambers. You get in these echo chambers online, and you know everybody says the same thing, thinks the same thing, and then all of a sudden you're locked into this way of thinking.
Right.
It's online, like really dangerous, where people just sort of have everyone sort of reinforcing all these ideas. You never get any outside information.
Right.
Only exists in this echo chamber.
And then that's how you become politics become your personality.
Yep. Your whole life.
Yeah. And it's such a crazy thing. It's so new because I wasn't aware in 1996, but I will very confidently say people weren't like, you either like Bob Dole or you get the fuck out of my house.
No, dude, it was no big deal.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, when, politics was just on television and in the newspapers, nobody gave a fuck who you supported. They didn't care. Maybe they thought you were an idiot because you're going to vote for that guy. Oh, that guy's a moron. You're crazy.
Right.
But there was no, like, we couldn't talk at the dinner table. We couldn't, it became everything, every part of your identity to fight against this. We are fighting against fascism by using fascism.
Yeah.
We're going to stop the election. We're going to remove people from social media. We're going to shut down these voices.
And then we'll give you the candidate to vote for.
Yes, to preserve democracy.
Yeah, but it is like because it's so annoying. Like especially I'm an Austin comic now, and people will be like, "Oh, so you do comedy? So you must be like an alt right wing comic?" Because it's like, no, I just do comedy. Like like there's there's a lot of stage time in the city, and that's sort of the whole point of the whole exercise is to get up on stage. And
bro, how many times do we like duke it out with Ron White in the green room over politics in the most friendly, hilarious way?
Right.
Tony and I are roasting him.
Well, what's funny is that ironically, people online, for whatever reason, Ron White's face is used a lot to come up on conservative memes.
Well, because conservatives love him.
I know, and it's so funny to me every time. Every time you're like, wow, y'all really think Ron White's this like deep red conservative? It's
so funny.
Crazy.
It's so funny because you get to know him. He's the most liberal amongst us.
Yeah, he's the most liberal guy in the green room.
He's first, and then Brian Simpson's two.
Yeah.
But Brian Simpson, it makes sense to me because used a lot of social services. Had like a rough stretch as a child. That's me too. That's like not as bad as him, but the same kind of reasoning. For like social safety nets are important. They keep people fed.
Yeah.
It's like that's super important, man.
Keep people give people access to medicine.
Yes.
That's very important.
Sometimes people are poor, and sometimes people get sick when they're poor. And the fact that shit could bankrupt you for the whole life. Like if you break a leg, you're bankrupt for your whole life.
That could bankrupt you if you're middle class. Fuck poor.
Yes.
The price of
my God.
medicine in this country is absolute insanity.
Right. Yeah. And the fact that people don't agree on that, or the education thing that we bring up ad nauseum, the fact that that's the only loans you can never get out of with bankruptcy, that's crazy.
Right.
And you get them when you're 18? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, that's so predatory.
Super predatory.
Super predatory.
Yeah.
Take a kid and give him a credit card with a 39% interest rate. Like, what are you talking about?
And then you told him, like, if you go to college, like, it's going to be better for you on the other end, and it's like that's not true at all.
No, not true at all.
Yeah, especially if you like got just a degree in like something that doesn't pay lucratively.
I remember when I first started becoming successful as a comedian, where I was actually making a living as a comedian. And I had friends that did the whole college thing and got jobs, and they were fucking miserable because we're both in our 20s, and they were out there in the workforce just fucking tired all the time, and they were upset. They were upset that I didn't do that, and yet I'm making money, I'm traveling around, I'm having a good time, hanging out with my friends. I've got no one telling me what to do. Write my own material, book my own flights, no boss.
Yeah.
And you could see like, fuck, you're supposed to be a loser. I did the right thing.
Dude, have you ever seen the Jim Carrey commencement speech? or like graduation speech he gave at a college once.
No.
Dude, I saw this. So I started comedy my 3rd year of college. So my 4th year, I'm like weighing out what do I want to do with my life. Do I want to go into higher education, grad school, med school, whatever, or do I want to do this thing that I think I love? And my friend showed me the speech because he knew I was going through this, and he was like, listen to this. And it's Jim Carrey talking about how you can fail at what's safe.
That's true too.
Like the route you're supposed to take doesn't mean it's going to lead to success. So if you're going to fail anyway, might as well just fail at what you want to do, because at least you will have done that.
Yeah.
And then if you fail the safe way, then you will always be like, fuck, I had this other thing I could have done.
Yeah.
And where could that have led me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now,
So true. But, however, the problem with that is, like, you've met open micers that are out of their fucking mind. And they're not going, it's not going to happen.
Right.
No one wants to listen to you say anything, ever.
Right.
You shut the fuck up. Like, this ain't working. But
well, that's why
I saw that Jim Carrey speech and I knew I just had to stay on the path. Yeah. You got any advice for me, Ehsan?
Yeah. Well, that's you can't get that. That's the Mitzi quote. It's a sin to encourage mediocre talent. You can't be like, no, keep going. You got the nicest way to be like, hey, there's other stuff.
Well, that's the weird one when people like that they want to ask advice. What do you think I should do? Like, what? What I really think you should do, or what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Want me to give you the secret word? Abracadabra.
Yeah. Oh, this is how you
have talent. Abracadabra.
This is how you make it. This is how you write a joke.
Yeah, this is what you got to do. I'll hold your hand.
Yeah.
You know what really happens with some guys? You get a hot girlfriend that is a comic, and then you're a really good comic, and she's terrible, and so you start writing her act. I've seen that happen a few times. I wonder if it happens the other way. Like, you get a really good female comic, and she starts dating some guy who sucks. She goes, listen, if you're going to date me, let me help you with your fucking material.
Ooh. I don't know if female comics date down like that very often.
They usually don't.
Yeah,
right?
they usually don't.
What is that called? Hypergamy?
Yeah, because if you're a great female comic, like the level of guy that's available to you is like
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's like what, yeah, it's like what are you doing with an open micer? That's like
right.
Yeah.
But if you're like a headliner who does theaters, you could totally have an open micer as a girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's totally like
As long as she's hot.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if like who's doing theaters right now? If Ali Wong or whatever started dating an open mic, I'd be like, yo, what happened?
Right.
Yeah. Something went wrong.
Right.
For her to date an
if
open
Whitney
mic.
Cummings started dating an open mic, you're like, what are you doing, crazy?
Yeah.
Show me what pills you're on.
Yeah.
You're going to take these away from you now, Whitney.
Yeah. There would be an intervention. There would be a group of dudes being like, the fuck is wrong with it?
No. This is Mike. He's a comedian too. What?
Yeah.
And Mike is all sketchy and fucking weird, but he's built good. You know, he's got a big bulge in his pants.
Yeah.
Sits down like Macron.
No. Sits down like Macron.
Being a female comic is infinitely harder. Because right away, people don't want to hear you talk about politics, don't want to hear your opinions on things. And, you know, you've got to, like Christina pulls it off, but like it's hard to be pretty on stage.
Right.
You know?
Right. Most of the time you have to hide your sex appeal.
Right.
I was talking to Kim Congdon about that, and she was like, I wear baggy clothes on stage. Sam Lopez, same thing. She wears baggy clothes on stage. I mean, she couldn't hide being pregnant, but like that's
Well, they had their baby.
They had their baby.
Deric's a daddy. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's so cool. Crazy.
He's gonna light a fire under him, guaranteed. He's gonna work so much harder now. He's gonna be excited about it, and he'll have so much material too, because it's just the whole experience of children. It's like mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, I told him it's like crazy. Like out of all the things you've accomplished, you've finally done the thing you were supposed to do.
Right. While you're put here on Earth.
But you had a kid, and that's like the most important thing. Like all the arenas that you've done, that's cool. But like
that's all good.
But this is what it is.
Yeah, I know. The arenas is just like a little dance that we do together, but we're really procreating. And then on top of that, we're making AI, and it's alive now, talking to itself.
Right.
Our job is almost done.
Yeah.
So you got in. Deric probably got in one of the last babies.
He's one of the last people that need to have a kid. Yeah.
It's kind of fucked, but listen, that's how the thing goes. You know, Australopithecus didn't get to stay around.
Right. Eventually, it's going to come to an end. Yeah.
Sorry, you're not good enough. You can't even code. You fucking dumbass with your stone tools. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We have planes now. You're not. We can't have you anymore.
Yeah.
And you know, if you Australopithecus is like, bro, your days are numbered. There's a Homo sapien coming.
Right.
Smart, does calculus.
Not even Homo sapien. There was like other stuff before, even before, like a Homo sapien to an Australopithecus is like it's like an alien.
Right.
Yeah.
Many stages.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're the same species, kind of.
It's so nuts, man. It's also nuts that we would think that it would end with us. Yeah, but we're the perfect. We got it. It's done. It's done. No, we're terrible. We have nuclear bombs. We're in the middle of fucking 30 wars right now. Like, what are you talking about? We're awful.
Right.
We're full of shit. We got the fucking all this congressional bullshit that we were just talking about with the insider trading, all the lies, all the different things that have gotten us in these different wars. Why would you want to stay this?
Well, it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Like, this is like, we can handle this.
Yeah. Well, it's not us.
Well, yeah.
We are not going to be around. There's going to be a new thing. Just like dinosaurs don't exist anymore. There's going to be a new thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna start. Eventually, these Waymos are gonna start slowly taking people out. Yeah, these Waymos are slowly gonna start taking people out.
All they have to do is just keep the door shut forever until you starve to death. And they consume you. Do you ever see that DARPA robot that they built? They built a DARPA robot called the Eater robot. EATR. I forget what it stands for. But it's fueled by biological material.
Dude. Dude, sometimes I feel like scientists don't watch any movies.
Or they watch them all.
Oh, they watch them all. And like, I want to do that.
They're like, what do we do? What are we doing here? We're making fucking weapons. All right, what's the best way to fuel these things? Is it solar? Should we get out there and fill their tank up with gas? Or let them eat bodies? And I think it was any kind of biological material. So it could be plants. Could be just plants.
It could just be
just ground squirrels.
Yeah.
Maybe they just eat ground squirrels.
Yeah.
No, maybe they just eat fucking dead bodies on the battlefield.
And just keep going.
Right. If you're a robot, an autonomous robot that exists on biological materials, and you also kill people, you got plenty of fuel.
Right.
You just eat a couple of those people.
You keep going.
Can you imagine if they really design artificially intelligent robots that kill people and eat them? Because that's the way to really do. If you want to do battle efficiently, well, what fuel would be the most efficient fuel to use? Well, what is the fuel that you're making with your task? Well, that fuel would be bodies. Well, when you run out of bodies, is your task done? Good.
Yeah.
So then you just shut off because you're out of fuel. So you run out of gas when you've eaten everybody on Earth. It's the perfect design.
It's that perfect killing machine.
If you wanted to extinguish human life on Earth, that's what you would do. You'd have autonomous intelligence, artificial intelligence that absolutely knows where everyone is at any given time because everybody has a digital signature and everyone's connected to devices, and all you do is kill and eat people and just send them loose. And they would be indestructible, and they would find you in buildings. They would fucking go upstairs to your apartment, find you and eat you. And when they're done eating everybody on the planet, they just shut off because they don't have any more fuel.
Damn.
Bro.
Damn.
That's what all you have to do.
Damn.
Program a robot that eats people.
Damn. How much time do you think we have left?
I don't think we have 100 years.
You don't think we have 100 years?
No, I don't think
we
so.
have 100 years either.
Unless, this is the other possibility. Like
the AI just leaves?
No, I'm totally talking on my ass. There's a couple options. One of the big options is we integrate. So instead of letting it eat us, what we do is become one with it. So instead of just being a territorial ape with thermonuclear weapons and a concealed carry permit, instead of being that, what we are is connected through Neuralink or something like that, or the next 30 versions of it from now. But just think about how quick cell phones changed everything and how much they've advanced since... What was the iPhone? 2007?
2000. I was in 8th grade, so that was 2006.
2006.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not that long ago.
No.
That's 20 years. 20 years. In 20 years, it's gone from being this little, shitty, clunky thing with a bad camera.
Right. It didn't even have a camera at first, didn't it?
Did it?
I don't think it had a camera at first.
Was the first iPhone have a camera?
Yeah.
I think
it did?
100%.
Okay.
I think it did. I think it wasn't on the internet, though.
Yeah,
what?
That was part of the deal with
That's
it.
part of the, okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't on the internet, right?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Was it, you couldn't get on the internet with it,
Well,
right?
YouTube was one of the first apps built into it. That's why it kind of grew so far.
But could you get online like and read like a website on it? The first one?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, but the internet was like super slow, right? What was the G's back then? How many G's was
I mean,
it?
that might have been the first G.
I mean, like the second or third iPhone was the iPhone 3G, and that was like the big
Right.
jump
That's
up.
right. So the 3G one was the first one where it actually became feasible that you would use it as a web browser. Like,
Right.
Now it's instantaneous, right? So now instead of taking forever to download a song or a movie, now with the bandwidth speeds you have, you get a new phone, new Android phone or a new iPhone, you're getting instantaneous everything. It's shocking how good it is. The new, all these new Samsung phones, like the Galaxy that Brian Simpson uses,
Right.
that has this Google Gemini assistant. He talked to it the other day, and he said, send me this, that, and that, put it on my calendar, and then text it to a friend of mine. And it just said, okay, and it just did it. It did all those things. What application would you like me to use? Google Tasks. It just does this for him. And it all automates just from a prompt. So he talks to his phone. His phone's like his assistant. Tell him, set that shit on my calendar, put it in my schedule, send me a text message when it's come time, put an alert so I know when it's coming up. Okay. It just does it all.
Ooh. That's wild. I've never
20 years.
I've never used Siri, so I'm not.
I
I'm
use
not that
Siri
good.
all the time, and then
Yeah.
Siri doesn't know what the fuck is going on. So Siri's always like, "Would you like to use ChatGPT?" I'm like, "Bitch, why am I asking
Why
you
am I talking
questions
to you?
if you got to keep going to ChatGPT? Should I replace you?" Because Gemini seems to have the answers. Gemini's way better than Siri.
It's
Way better.
Well, because it feels like, and I know nothing about how AI works, but it feels like because Siri was already there. It's like trying to implement AI to
Right.
an interface that's kind of old.
The Google interface with AI in the phones and all the Google ecosystem is way better. It's just it's way more effective. It's quicker. It like gets it. It'll follow a chain of questions. Like you can ask it another question. How should I do that? What should I do with it? And
I
it
know.
follows what you're saying.
Okay.
It's just a better design, and it's integrated. So like Siri has to ask ChatGPT, and like, would you like to use ChatGPT? But bitch, what do you think?
Yes.
If you don't have the answer, go to ChatGPT, get me the fucking answer. Whereas Google cuts that step out. It gives you the answer immediately. It's just better at it. Integrates with Gmail. It's just a better system. But they're working on it. It's like all these things are getting better. Like all the AI is getting better.
Oh, they're so much better. I mean, just the video we watched, like
Crazy.
the AI capabilities 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That video, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
And now you see it on I'll see it online or like Reddit or Facebook, or you'll see it where like people are like, oh, you're falling for this AI thing. And it took me a second to realize like, oh, it's AI.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. There's
yeah,
a lot of those.
there's
I
a-
posted one of a butterfly. No, a mantis. Like some crazy mantis that looked like a lotus flower. I was like, oh, that looks dope. And like somebody posted it on Instagram, so I just put it in my stories just because I thought it looked dope.
Right.
Even if it's fake, it's still dope. And then someone said, but why does he have 5 fingers and a thumb? I was like, does he? Was it you, Jamie? Did you notice it? Yeah, Jamie noticed it.
That's so funny.
Jamie's always like ahead of the curve with that shit though, because he's super skeptical and he does too much research into conspiracies.
Yeah. Well, you have to be. You have to be super skeptical
Jamie goes-
about anything you see now.
He goes,
so
all
much-
roads lead to Ohio.
Everybody's sending me bullshit all day. I have to fucking look through it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
this is like
definitely
talk
that.
about this on the show, and it's just some guy with
Oh,
3
yeah.
heads or whatever.
Well, there's a lot of people that believe things, and the thing is, like, a lot of the stuff that you're fed that's fake, you're fed by people who want you to repeat it because they're trying to muddy the waters of reality,
Right.
which is a great strategy.
Well, if you say it enough, it can be real. There's certain truth to it, right? So it's
There's
like
that. But there's also say something that is real and attach a bunch of really goofy shit to it so that it's not real anymore.
So to make it be like, well, this if everything else around it is fake,
Right.
this has to be fake.
Right. You connect it to a Nazi apologist or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, this is nonsense. Or like the all this UFO stuff. Like there's so much of that stuff that seems like so hokey, you don't even want to repeat it, and yet it's connected to things like gravity propulsion drives, which were theorized about in the 1950s, and there's research was done on them, and it seems like maybe some groundbreaking advancements were kind of concealed from the public, but then it's like I was abducted and they took all of my sperm, and what I mean? It's like all these people that are connected to it that are goofy. You wonder, Like, how much of that goofy shit is on purpose to make the whole thing seem stupid? Because what they're really trying to do is obscure something.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
So it's like it's a bit hiding it in plain sight.
Right.
Just like, we never hid it from you. You just
Yeah.
thought it wasn't real because this guy was talking about getting jerked off by
Just
aliens.
connect it to Scientology or fucking whatever. Just throw some nonsense that way. Flat Earth, whatever. You know, just find some reason why it's kooky. Connect it to like some fucking person who channels. You know what I mean?
Right.
Make it stupid.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's stupid. That's a bunch of stupid shit.
Connected
You know?
to Scientology.
Right. It's connected to
That's
something that you don't want to talk about. You know, Bigfoot. Oh, Bigfoot. You know what I mean? It's like those kind of strategies for taking real information and muddying it up with a bunch of nutty shit and then send the Patriot Front to go fucking protest for it. Like, oh, great.
right. Are those
Patriot Front
Are those the
likes it.
feds?
That's what people say.
Right.
And then there's like a thing online now. "Hey, the Patriot Front was all feds. How come they're back? Like all of a sudden they reemerged. They took a hiatus.
Right.
And they're back with season 3. These guys they still wear the bandanas. They're still marching down the street covering their face. They still wear uniforms. Like, see, they're not even feds. There's no way they could be feds. I mean, that's over.
Right.
There's no way. Like, it's not like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino completely did a 180 as soon as they got into office. I mean, it's like, this is a different federal government now.
Right. yeah.
Now it's Truth Social.
I feel like I think the things that people forget is that they definitely play both sides.
Yeah.
Like, I think because they were heavily involved in January 6th, and I think they were heavily involved in those the BLM riots. It's like, oh my God, the feds they want chaos for whatever reason, for more control, I guess.
They want that, and they want us at each other's throats.
Right.
They want people. They want the MAGA people fighting with the liberals. They want that. They want that, and they fuel it. I see a lot of those pro-MAGA posts. You know, like MAGA Mom 2000. I'm like, really? You know what I mean? It's like, how many of these people are real people? And they say ridiculous shit.
That's like, I hope you're not a real person. I hope your identity isn't MAGA first, Mom second.
Yeah.
I really hope you're not a real person.
It's just, I think, you know, whatever the number is, whether it's 50%, like it's so hard to know what's real and what's not. And I think the best strategy, for me at least, the best strategy is just tune the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's why I like YouTube.
Yeah,
I go on YouTube. I'm watching stuff about like fucking ancient civilizations and car videos.
I'm watching a guy do puzzles. Like, this is like way better.
I like watching guys cook. I love. I think is it called Bon Appetit? I forget what it is. I've been watching a bunch of videos on various restaurants, like how they set up. I love it, man. I don't know why, man. I love watching people do something that they're really passionate about. And when you watch a video about like a really great restaurant where they're talking about how they picked the beef and that's who it was. It was you know that guy Guga Foods? Do you know who that guy is?
No.
Amazing YouTube channel. He's like this steak guy. He's obsessed with steak and cooking different kinds of steak. He went to Osabuco in Miami, which is like supposedly one of the best restaurants in the country. I haven't been, but this place Osabuco in Miami, I think they were talking about how they had a 2-year dry age steak. Dry aged it for 2 years, or they didn't cut that one up. They made another one for him. But you're watching this chef, and he's got this like crazy live hardwood fire grill set up, and he's talking about he's cooking at these different temperatures, and he's got the peppers over here, and he's cooking pineapples over fire over here. He's gonna splice that up and put it in this, and you watch and it's so exciting, and he's so passionate about what he's making the meat and how they're using this like herb brush to put butter all over it. You're like, oh my God, it looks so good.
Yeah,
it looks so good. And it's like, I'm not getting angry. I'm not getting outraged.
No.
I am. That's it. This is the guy. So I found the greatest restaurant on earth. It says, I'm speechless. So that disgusting, rotten mummy dick is that's a 2-year dry age steak. But what that is the mold from that helps to dry age all the other beef. So he calls it like the mother. That's why he's not cutting into it yet. See, so right there he calls it the mother. And so this guy takes him like a regular, like a 2-month dry age. 22 days. Okay.
Right.
So it's like there used to be a place called APL that was in LA, and they went under during the pandemic. But Adam Perry Lang was the chef, and he was really into dry aging, and he had some 1 year dry aged meat, and he served it to us, and we were like, "Whoa, this is wild!"
Right.
It's a weird taste, man, because it's essentially like being eaten by parasites. It's like, mold is eating it. We should go back to those videos of that guy just cooking the steak that you just had up. Look how fucking good this looks.
Oh, my
When the guy
God.
was cooking the steak, though, like, look at this. And they're making osabu. So go before that, you'll see the steak. So he's throwing the, so he's got the fires out. And this is osabuco, so he's pulling it off the bone. Go
Damn.
back a little earlier, though, when you watch him cook it. Because this is what I like is watching it when it hits the grill. There's nothing like steak cooking over live
Yeah,
wood,
that
like
made me real hungry.
hardwood, like burning hardwood. And this guy is just a master at it. And then he takes it out and he slices it up and puts herb butter all over. And you're like,
Damn.
And this, see me? I'm not mad.
No.
No one's outraged. I'm not getting politically involved. I'm just enjoying watching someone cook delicious food.
Watching someone do something they love is always great.
Yeah.
I follow this one guy in Britain. His name is Francis. I forgot the name of the channel, but
Watch him slice it. Make him slice it. Jamie, put it back up.
this guy named Francis.
Look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
Look at that. Look at it. Oh, baby.
The genuine happiness.
Yeah, look at his face. That's a real, you can't fake that kind of smile. And he's going to slice it up. Oh, baby, baby, baby. So good, dude.
So I watch this guy on Instagram. His name is Francis. He lives in England. He loves trains. Trains. And every time he sees a train, he gets super happy and he tells you everything about the train, like its route and its history.
And you get excited.
I love how much he's into it.
Yeah.
I love it. It makes me happy every time he's on my this guy rules. Fred, dude, this guy fucking rules, dog.
Wow. Let me hear him. Let me hear him.
I've ever been to at Little Bedwin, where the Kennet and Avon Canal runs rather prettily alongside the Berks and Hants line here. And it's at this road bridge that I'm about to see Britannia. Oh my god, it's a 59.
Okay, stop right here.
Yeah.
Stop right here. Imagine how quickly one of those Colombian Mormons could get him.
Ooh, you know what's funny? He's showed his girlfriend before. She's
hot?
a dime, dude.
Damn,
yeah,
of course she is.
yeah. Because
Maybe she's into trains too. That's the key.
maybe,
Yeah.
but he is a guy.
goat.
He's a guy who's good at what he does, is passionate about it, and is happy with. That's attractive to women.
Oh yeah.
There's-
People love when people are really into something.
But
you
look,
know?
every video, just a massive smile, just a train.
Yeah.
It's like a little hit of happiness. This guy.
Yeah. Look at him. Yeah, man. Like whatever it is, whether it's automobiles, whatever it is. I love watching auto reviews, even cars that I'm never gonna buy.
Right.
I like watching. Like, what do you think about that car? You know,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
they go over the way the mechanics work and how it's designed, and yeah, when people are into whether it's making furniture,
It's just this whatever you're
Yeah.
creating is.
Yeah.
If it's just train watching, if
Yes.
you're into it,
Yes.
it's like awesome for other people.
super
Did you
contagious.
see this guy this month? He went pretty viral. He quit his job, cashed in his 401k, took his cat, got a sailboat, went to Hawaii.
Whoa.
Just got there yesterday.
Whoa.
He went from 10,000 people following to 1.6 million.
Whoa. Sailing _ Phoenix on Instagram.
He's just doing daily updates of yep, this is me. Here's my cat. Here's my boat. Today sucked. It's pretty cold, pretty windy.
I'm following that guy. Yeah, we because everybody has that dream, right?
Yeah.
Oh, just check out of society, man. Live on a mountain. That's mine.
Well, they just film it all.
What's his Instagram again?
Sailing with Phoenix.
Oh, thank you.
Phoenix is the cat. His name's Oliver.
Sailing with Phoenix came up right away on Instagram or on YouTube, rather. Mm-hmm. Bam, subscribe.
Damn, that's nice. Yeah, but it's
Subscribing.
You know what I find interesting with the social media, and now with what I talked about earlier with the streaming, the live streaming people do, is you remember? Oh my God, that Jim Carrey movie, Truman Show.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh my God, look at this guy. He's been tricked, and we're watching everything he's doing. And now fast forward 30 years, and people are actively trying to become Truman.
Yeah.
It's a very I wonder if the guy who wrote that movie thought of that as a possibility.
Do you remember the McConaughey one? There was a McConaughey film, Ed TV. Same thing. Following a guy around his whole life, and eventually he's like, at the end, he's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm gonna be normal.
Was it a choice that he made, or was it put upon him in that movie?
I don't remember. Did he win something?
I don't know. But
Did he win a contest or something?
Made me think of someone that did just do this. This guy called the Outdoor Boys channel. He had
Oh yeah, I
14.8
watched that guy.
million. Yeah,
he
just
quit.
He
He's
quit.
Like, it's too much to my family. Can't take it.
He's really cool. I liked his shows. He would like go places and camp and cook his own food and shit. There's a bunch of those guys that I follow. I followed this one guy last night. He's in. It was like 10 degrees below zero. He's testing out the world's warmest sleeping bag. So he's got like a fire he makes in the woods.
Dope.
He treks out there by himself on snowshoes with a fucking sled behind him filled with his stuff.
Damn.
But it's interesting, man. It's fascinating.
You
know?
People just want to. People will watch people live life.
Watch someone do something purposeful. Like when you're out in the woods and you make your own fire and you have the warmest sleeping bag, you have to have that to stay alive.
Right.
And that's why it's exciting to us, because everything else has no consequences. Our day is just like, should I stay awake and keep watching YouTube, or should I go to bed? I should probably go to bed now. I'll give myself one more hour. One more hour of watching bullshit. Wasting your time.
Yeah.
And this guy's out there in the woods,
doing
10
something
below zero, in this sleeping bag. All I can see out of it is like this, because everything is bundled up in there, fucking freezing. You gotta stoke the fire, stay warm, stay alive.
That stuff gives me anxiety. I can't watch that.
Me too. But it's also exciting. Like, you know, you want to watch him do it. And that Outdoor Boys guy was one of those guys. And, you know, I think just got too popular.
Yeah, I mean, it was front page news that he quit. A YouTuber quit
Maybe
and
he'll
it was
come
news.
back. He's cool, though. He seems like a real sweet guy, like a real nice guy, like everything about his show. And it's interesting.
Well, yeah, it's like a lot of these people, these are people you want to root for.
Yeah.
The sailboat guy, the train guy, him. It's like, I want these people to succeed. It's
Also, this is like low production value, doing it on his own, self-filming. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, just probably have to pay an editor and that's about it.
He might edit it himself.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
hard to do today.
No.
You know, you could kind of figure it out if you want to really cut down the amount of people working with you. You know, you could probably figure out how to do that.
Oh, you could just watch a
stuff.
YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just watch
Just have
a
the
YouTube.
time, you could edit it all yourself. And then, you know, you're kind of your own production. And then just by word of mouth, this guy got big. Because it's kind of fun to watch.
Right. And like pretty intense, the
Yeah.
stuff he does sometimes.
Hey, he gets out there in the woods, bro.
Yeah, I saw this one video of him where he like, oh, thank God I found this cabin. Otherwise, I would have been fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if that's your dad, though, and you have to watch and your little kid, like, we almost lost dad.
Yeah.
Dad, how close were you? No, I was exaggerating for the show. I knew where I was.
Yeah, it must be weird having a famous parent.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, how do your kids deal? Like, is
They
it?
handle it pretty well because they've always had a famous parent.
Oh, you didn't
You know what I
become
mean?
famous,
Right.
While it was. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That would be even weirder.
Right,
That's the weirdest. For them, that's like what's normal.
right.
You
If they
know?
always grew up in it, it's like it's whatever.
Yeah. It's a problem. You know what else is a problem? I got to pee so bad.
Okay.
Whew. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
3 hours, dude. Flew by.
Hell yeah.
Crazy.
Good time.
Tell everybody your Instagram. And, bro, first of all, I'm super excited watching you do stand-up. You've been fucking killing it. It's
Thank you.
really fun. It's
Thank
fun
you.
to watch. It's fun to watch you write. And, you know, it's one of what, I mean, I've known you for so long now because I knew you at the Comedy Store. To see you from there to where you are now, it's super inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad, and I thank you too for the opportunity for a place where I could work as hard as I'm able to work. It's like
You're making the most of it. We were talking. Me and Tony were talking about it last night. Like you were literally making the most of it. Out of all these young guys
Dude,
coming up.
There used to be this. I love the Niners, and Steve Young is talking about his Super Bowl winning performance. It's like, I was given this opportunity to show how great I could be. So let me show how great I could be. It's like, oh, if you're giving me this opportunity to like get up all the time,
Yeah.
let me write, let me be helpful to other young comics. Let me just be a part of this
See
scene.
the process work.
It
You know,
works.
See it work.
It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully you can follow me at Ehsan Ahmad, EHSANJAHMAD. I have a podcast with my friend Deric.
Who's a recent dad?
Yeah, recent dad called The Solid Show. I think our chemistry on there is phenomenal.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Derek is the best.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
so lovable. He's maybe the most likable guy that's ever lived.
He might be. He's like a cartoon character almost.
If you don't like Derek, how the fuck are we gonna have a conversation?
Yeah. So
everybody loves that guy.
Yeah,
right?
Oh my god. And then that's my podcast. So yeah, just follow me on there. And then I think this year, especially these last few sets I've been having, is like, oh, I got to film something.
beautiful.
I gotta find a way to do it, but I think I'll film a
Wow,
special.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah,
All
like a 30
Let's wrap
minutes.
this up.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.